Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Woolley. And today I'm so excited to have on a 43-year-old from Rotherham, England. His hockey journey has taken him to England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Austria, Finland, Hungary, Kazakhstan, Slovakia, Sweden, and Denmark. He's been running amok of the photography game for years. He is the official picture snapper guy for the first place Sheffield Steelers and will be a champion this year. Winning is fun. He is also the guy for the Disney movie that is Team Great Britain and obviously is another gold medalist shed guy. He is known around the UK as the GOAT, not my goat, or the greatest all time of capturing the hockey memories that last a lifetime. Welcome to the shed, Dean Woolley.
Wow, what an introduction. I mean, geez, I don't even know where to go with that, but really appreciate you having me, Wally. Literally just before we started the call, I was saying how honoured I was to actually see my face in and amongst the famous world-renowned shed. It's awesome to be here, mate. Thank you for the introduction. Superb.
No, thank you. When I reach out to a guy and he writes back that he'd be honored, it's like, wow, that's neat. Because it's just me talking in my shed, a guy that only played a little over a year in Cardiff, and that people want to come to my shed and talk to me, that's fun.
Absolutely, 100%. I have got to say as well, so obviously I've listened to a lot of your podcasts now, and I always kind of smile when you do the introduction and you talk about your research team, which obviously is you. I know it's just you. And I always just assume that you got all of this information and all these stats and things like that from the person that was coming. I didn't give you any of that apart from my age and where I live. So I'm uber impressed, Wally. Superb work, mate.
It doesn't take long. But usually the research team would head to Elite Prospects. Didn't go there today. What I actually did was I just Googled your name and an article came up from 2018 in the Star that was titled, "Is the Wolster the best camera guy in the game?" Well, I said it like I say it, but that was the title of the article.
And that was my good friend Bob Westerdale, I believe, that wrote that at the time. Yes, I remember that. Also very honoured as I was very honoured and remain very honoured that he wrote such a lovely article. But yes, I think Bobby was one of your guests not so long back, wasn't he?
He sure was. And I mean, for me, it's not hard to figure out who the shed guys are around the game and who has my back. I had Dowdy or some kind of Sheffield Steeler on and talked about how good looking Dowdy was. And then Bob Westerdale wrote an article in the newspaper about my shed and about how good looking Robert Dowd is. And that is just heartwarming stuff.
I mean, Dowdy is a beautiful bastard, isn't he?
Isn't he
what
good
a good-looking specimen that guy is. I mean, I get to see him like every week, sometimes multiple times a week, and I find myself even now, after all these years of knowing him, still kind of drooling at the mouth a little bit when I walk past him in the corridor.
It's horseshit. Who says you can't have everything?
Absolutely.
Some hockey guys are just built differently than me, you know?
This is well, and me too, buddy. There's a reason you couldn't find me on Elite Prospects, and that's because I'm built the same.
Well, you can find me. But you know what? It would be a great battle someday to have maybe I should have a vote someday on my Instagram where I do everything, my honey hole. Maybe I should post a picture of Lee Salters and Robert Dowd and settle this. Who is the best looking UK hockey player ever?
Wow. What a great. Wow. I don't even know how to call that. I mean, I'd have to go with Dowdy because he's my boy. He's my Sheffield boy, of course. But I mean, Lee Salters is a sexy bastard as well.
Isn't he? Like he's a big bitch.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes.
And I sat next to him in the locker room, guys.
Oh wow! You got to see things that only we could dream about. That's impressive.
Oh man, it was so funny with the wives in Cardiff when he came to the team my second year. Man, they just couldn't contain themselves when he was around. They'd be gushing and blushing.
Brilliant. I love it so much.
Oh gosh, yeah, and both great dudes, shed guys.
Top guys, absolutely.
Anyways, I get it now. We know each other. Good start, by the way. I've been laughing a lot already. I don't need to exercise again today, folks. We already worked on the abs.
Love it.
One of your poster picks, you are with my main man, the guy that you're starting the shed, and your Devils, your guys. Matthew Myers brought me back for his testimonial, where I met Dowdy, I met Jono, Twinkle Toes, and all the fellas, and I realized that day and that weekend that I had some really hard feelings towards the Sheffield Steelers, and you know what? Like, even Davy Phillips, man, what a dandy he is. He's not with you anymore, but like, I meet these guys for a weekend, and then I was sour for years. And then you get to know them, you break bread and have pints together and play a hockey match for fun, and I won the trophy. But anyways, it made me realize that shed guys are shed guys, and it doesn't matter what jerseys we wore when we played,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've never kind of been lucky enough to play the game sort of the way you guys have, but I'm close enough to it now with the photography that I see the difference between the stuff that goes on the ice when you're in opposing teams. There's a job to do. There's the code that you follow and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, you get you guys off the ice and into a pub or just into a bar somewhere, and you're all the same. Do you know what I mean? And I mean that in a genuinely good and positive way. Just top people, just playing the game that they love. I mean, you guys are not getting rich from this. Do you know what I mean? You're making a living from this sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
you've just got to live your life and have the fun that you can have, haven't you?
That's why I still think that the UK league is it's the funnest league in the world. Is if everybody doesn't realize that, like, we're not making millions and we're not going to be retired after, and they just enjoy the game and take it for what it is. It's a bunch of dudes that love hockey and want to keep playing. And you know what? A lot of us, the further you go down that path, the harder it is to transition in the real world. And I see it now with my buddies that are in their mid 30s and still giving her. And it's like, I know you don't have the nest egg. I know you're gonna struggle. And man, it sometimes is tough to see because I had to go through it. But when you see the pictures of guys like you take, and you see the joy on people's faces when they score goals and win games, and you see the disappointment on the other team, and it's like, man, these guys are doing what they love and they're giving it.
Absolutely. And God, let's let them do it as long as they can, because Wally, as you'll know by now, the real world is shit in comparison to that kind of stuff and those kinds of memories, mate. It really is.
I have no comment because I have a really good job.
You give
But
anything though to be back on the ice full time, Wally, wouldn't you? Let's be honest about it.
no, being in the game is what I'm about. I've always been a hockey guy, always was a hockey guy, and when it was over and I wanted to set roots for my family, and it was like I have to get away from that and be this other person, and it was a very difficult time when I didn't have a hockey team, when I didn't have my boys to joke around with and do the funny hockey stuff you do. And now that I'm coaching kids and I'm in the real world, man, I have my hockey team, I have my people. And
Awesome.
it's the exact same thing. They're just younger, you know?
Absolutely. But you're still in there, aren't you? You're still doing the stuff and involved with the stuff that you love. It's kind of that's sort of one of the main reasons that I do the photography as a sideline. It isn't my main job. I have a very good but very boring kind of office based job through the week. My excitement then is the hockey at the weekend and getting in there and having fun and like you've said, getting the pictures of those key moments, especially kind of when I'm away with GB as well. I mean, to represent your country, whether you've got skates on your feet or not, is just a huge honour. So to be able to do that, Wally, is immense. It really is.
I I totally agree with everything. There's so much I want to say about that, but the one thing is we both do our day jobs, we both givers, so then we can follow our passion and have fun, right?
You've got it exactly right. Nail on the head, mate. Yeah.
hmm And it does take passion and the love to give up your weekends to be at hockey, to take the pictures you do, to be at every game. Do you go on road games too?
Sometimes, yeah. And again, the kind of the day job sort of gets in the way of that a little bit. And of course, I have a family. I have a wife, two lovely children as well. So this isn't me saying that the family gets in the way of it. It doesn't. I absolutely want to make sure that I've between all of these things that I do, I've got time to spend with my girls, because the worst thing that could happen here is that I go to work through the week and I go to every single hockey game at the weekend. And then before I know it, my kids have grown up and I've missed the joy of all of that. So it's a balancing act, but crikey, what a great balancing act to have to deal with, mate, eh?
Man, you really hitting home today. Yeah, like when you're a hockey player and you have to travel all over the world to play and have it be a career, you have to leave home and you have to go do it.
Yeah.
And you know, by the end, it's like, man, we're ready to be home with, you know, your family and your people.
Yeah.
And I have everything I need. I have my shed. I get to be my hockey guy. I get to be myself. I get to have my fun. I do my day job. I work hard. I play hard. And then I also am home every weekend, and that my job supports me, and I can do these on lunch hours, and they're a sponsor and they don't even know it, and they're on every poster because they let me be me. And I get to be home for every weekend, for every game, for everything my kids are doing. I'm here. And I also get to be myself and my hockey guy. And it's like, man, who says you can't have everything, right?
100, absolutely. How perfect is that? I mean, it doesn't get much better, does it?
No, when when the day's over and you ripped out a pod on lunch, you worked all day, and then the kids come home and you're like, I'm ready. Let's do this.
You've got it. Absolutely bang on, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
Fun stuff. And you know, I always say shed guys and no shed guys. You know what someone wrote to me when I said you were coming on?
Oh,
This is
go.
this isn't even a Steeler guy. This is a
Oh,
different guy.
wow. Okay.
He said, not just a fantastic or the best photographer, but an even better human.
Wow.
Isn't that
Jeez, I don't know if I'll
interesting?
get my head out of the door after this call.
I
Am I
know.
allowed to ask who that was, or are we keeping it a secret?
Well, I don't know if his word is that good. It was Dees.
Dees, oh God, do you know what? He'll see anything to get on my good side. That guy, I swear to God. Do you know? But do you know what I mean? Equally, what a top boy, yeah, Dees is,
Isn't he?
and do you know what a career he's carving out for himself as well. It's kind of it's easy, isn't it, when we have that kind of these sorts of discussions to concentrate and think kind of primarily about the hockey guys, because of course that's what this is about. But for Dees to go and do what he's doing over in, I think it's Austria, isn't it, from an
Graz,
equipment manager
Austria. Yeah.
point of view, how awesome is that? What a great opportunity he's had, and fair play to him for keeping it going every year as well. He could, I'm sure, at some point have thought, you know what, I can do this back at home. I can be close to family, friends, things like that. But he's sticking it out, and fair play to the guy. I love seeing it. I really do.
Well, and he seems like he has a great setup there. And
Yeah,
I mean, what's neat for me is seeing all these shed guys do so well in life. And it's like, for
yeah,
me, seeing
yeah.
what my friends and teammates are doing and all the trophies being won, and it's like, holy moly, I have the coolest friends in the world. And like Dees, I was there when he got the job. We had a different equipment manager at the start of that season, and they determined that it wasn't the culture they were wanting, and Dees was just hanging out at the arena all the time. And they're like, why don't you give it a go? And now look at the boy, right?
Awesome. Brilliant. What a great story that is. That's superb.
And fun fact, folks, is I wrote his reference letter when he got the job with the chocolatey Manchester Storm, too. And
Oh, is that right?
yeah, and I took the call from the coach in Graz when he got that job. I was out of the game. I don't have a shed. I got nothing to do with nothing. And my phone starts ringing, and it says it was from Ontario. And it's the coach of the Graz 99ers. And he says, I'm calling about David Owen. And I'm like, who the hell is David
Oh,
Owen?
is that?
But then I told him, I'm like, well, it depends what you want your room to be like. I'm like, I know Dees, and I'm like, I'm not going to lie to this coach because he's trying to put his team together to make it his. And I said, with Dees, you're going to get a guy that's going to chirp all the fellas. He's going to make it fun. He's going to hockey it up all day long. And you know what? If guys aren't doing things right, he's going to let them know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what I would want in an equipment manager, a guy that makes it fun, but also holds people accountable.
Absolutely. 100%, mate. Absolutely.
Hmm. Well, you know, the first time I think your photo crossed my desk here in Shed headquarters, I think you're on David Sims's poster pics.
Okay, yeah, yes, I've tried my best to distance myself from Simsy many times over the years,
I
but he keeps
noticed because
kind of
you didn't even put
boomeranging me
him on
back.
your poster and he put you on his. You're playing
Oh,
hard to get with
so
him, aren't you?
you're damn right. I don't want him thinking he's kind of got too much control and ownership over me. So every now and again, I do little things like this, like not include him on my poster.
Little
But
pushback, little pushback.
you've got it hard. I think you just described it as playing hard to get. That's what you have to be with Sims. You don't want him. You don't want him feeling he's got it too easy. That boy, you really don't.
No, well, he can give her. That guy knows how to hockey.
Do you know he really does, and I mean, as I'm sure you know all too well, Wally, he splits opinions, does our David. But there's nobody else you would want to be going over the top with in a war situation. One of the most, if not the most reliable, and one of my reliable guys, and one of my best friends. He's a good guy. I just wish people got the chance to see the real David Sims and not the social media David Sims because
Yeah.
he's a pain in the arse when it comes to social media. But he's my pain in the arse, mate. I love him to pieces. I really do.
No, and for the one thing I always say is it's awesome when your people have your back. And I would say David Sims has every Sheffield Steelers back through
Oh,
and through.
yeah. Yep, 100%. And do you know what? The reality, I agree completely from a Sheffield point of view. But do you know what? If you're a decent person and you show him a little bit of respect and you're not an arsehole, he will have everybody's back that deserves it. Splits opinions, does my head in sometimes, but won't have him any other way. He's a top old boy. And I think, did I see you here right recently that his shows are your top listened to? Is that right?
Yeah, he's been on 3 times. Two of them are the top 2 listened to ever. Ever. That's the audio,
Wow.
folks.
Wow.
The YouTube is different because that Fitzy jumped out of nowhere on me. Because I don't promote stuff. I don't have a marketing team. I got Jake Shed of director of Shed Marketing in Manchester. That's all I got, folks. I ain't putting this stuff out there unless I want to. But Fitzy shared when I had all the Glasgow clan guys on. He like put it on Twitter or something. And within a day, it was watched like 1,000 times. And I'm like, whoa, man, you're
Wow.
like famous, famous.
Fitzy, another good guy. God, I mean, the reality is we'll throw names out through this call, won't we? And there'll not be one name that'll come out that's a bad guy, but Fitzy in particular, what
You
a
only
peach
talk
of a
about the
gent
Shed
that guy
guys. You
is.
don't talk about the other guys.
Exactly. We don't care about if they've not been in Wally's shed, then we don't really care, do we?
Well, Fitzy hasn't been here yet. And now he's coaching my college mentor's kid in AAA in Toronto. And he still hasn't come to the Shed.
Oh, get Fitzy on. Have you asked him? He's not like turned you down or anything, has he?
He didn't turn me down, but he said, and he said, let me know if you're having all the clan fellas on again. You know, I might have to
Wow.
trick him into
Okay.
my shed. I might have to have another group chat on just to get him in here. And then he'll
That's the
realize
way.
fun is fun. And then he'll want some one-on-one time with me, right?
Absolutely. Let him know that Dino from Sheffield has been on. So if Dino can get his ass on there, then Fitzy definitely can.
Right. And you're coaching my buddy's kid. Grow up, Fitzy. Get
Well,
in my shed or
exactly.
I'm going to
Yeah.
jack in the
Oh my.
box you again, right?
You've got it. You've got it. That's the way. Shame him into it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he'll share it on Twitter and I'll be a big time global sensation because of his followers.
Yeah. Who needs this spitting chicklets bollocks? Do you know what I mean?
Right?
It'll all be about Wally and his shed.
They're all talking about NHL stuff and having millions of dollars. That's not real life, folks. What we do is
Now,
real life.
exactly. Sat in the studios with all the proper mics and what have you. We need a Wally in a shed here with his headset on. That's what it's about.
On his work computer on lunch. But seriously, it's amazing the fun stuff that's happened from finding myself again and my friends. And I had been disconnected from a lot of it. I had my handful of guys that, were my closest over my career that I was still in contact with all the time, talking about the struggles of life and whatever. But since starting this, it's amazing the fun stuff that's happened. Were you at Kit Kat Get That?
Yes, I was. That was Mosey. Was it a couple of seasons ago? That now it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, I've been doing it that long.
Yeah, I'm sure. And the one thing that I remember from it is how pissed off our arena guys were because the foil Kit Kat wrappers, when they sat on the ice for more than like a minute or so, they kind of started to freeze and transfer onto the ice. Our ice guy was as pissed as anything, honestly, he really was. And then the other thing I remember is he's kind of walking down the player corridor once all the guys have been showered and changed and everything, and just seeing Mosey hoist this black sack full of fucking Kit Kats over his shoulder like Santa and walk out of the arena. I love stuff like that. It's
Oh man,
brilliant.
wasn't that hockey?
Oh yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And I love when the Steelers had my back there. It was so hockey that the Steelers would have my back when I was a Devil, and that we pulled that off. And then Mosey was man of the match, and there's Kit Kats everywhere. And then fun was banned, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Unfortunately, it was. Yeah.
So, well, I guess you work for the Steelers, so put your earmuffs on, pretend like you can't hear
Okay.
me. Okay.
Go
So the
on.
Challenge Cup final, I hear, is ran by the league, not the Steelers. They have not recognized anything I've been talking about in my shed, and I don't think they should because they have no idea what I'm doing in my shed. I'm just a fat old guy in my shed in Canada, having fun. And the rules are that at a Sheffield Steelers game, you can't throw chocolate on the ice. Well, the EIHL is putting this game on, folks. So the fellas want chocolate. Whoever your favorite player is, put his name on the chocolate bar, have a go. And the other thing is, Tansy has enough chocolate from coming to the shed. Nobody's been throwing on the ice, folks. We're not breaking rules. They're just handing it over to him, because he's playing well and running amok. Same with the Sauce and Champ and Dowdy and the fellas. They're having a year. So if you want to give Tansy something weird and fun, and throw it on the ice after the Challenge Cup final, everybody can blame me. It was my fault, my bad. But I think we'll make it a competition, and Tansy can pick his favorite out of the weirdest fun things he gets,
And just to confirm, this is not in any way endorsed by the Sheffield Steelers photographer who happens to be on camera at the time that this
That's
is
right.
being
No,
said.
you didn't even hear what I said. What is your favorite chocolate bar, in case people like that you've taken photos of and made memories for life, that maybe, they've printed them and put them in their house, and it's like them with players or them in the crowd. Like if they wanted to say like thank you for the years of support of the Steelers and taking memorable photos, what would your favorite chocolate bar be?
Dairy milk. Every day of the week and twice on Sundays, Cadbury Dairy Milk. Superb.
Really? Just straight up chocolate? Or you putting any nuts in there?
Straight up chocolate. No, don't need anything to ruin any chocolate. Just a straight up bar of chocolate, Wally. Yeah.
Really? What are you drinking there? What is that?
Oh, it's really boring. It's just dilute. It's squash, dilute, whatever. I'm not sure what you would call it.
Juice?
Sort of the thing, juice, squash, yeah, anything like that. Yeah, you have weird names for things over there, don't you? I'd
I'd
call it
say you
dilute from
guys
where
do.
I am.
You guys aren't even driving on the right side of the car.
Well, I mean, I'm not so sure that's quite right, Wally, is it now?
You're the only ones being different.
Hey, I'll tell you something. Some of the funniest things I see even now is some of the guys that come from sort of North America have never driven with a gear stick, a stick shift. I think it's what you call it, isn't it?
A
Never driven.
standard car.
Oh,
Isn't that fun
honestly, it's
stuff?
hilarious. Yeah,
It
it's.
is
I mean,
so funny.
I didn't realize until I was kind of more deeply involved with hockey that that wasn't the car that the whole world started driving in. I mean, I'd been to America before, and I'd hired cars and always known they were what we would call automatics over here. But I just assumed that you'd still do your test and everything in the stick, and then you were just too lazy to kind of change gears over
It's
there. But
literally
obviously
around
not.
here, man. They're like, they don't even make them. They don't even make the stick shift. I don't see them
Wow.
anywhere. Nobody's buzzing around hitting the clutch, Like I I learned
See.
as a kid, and then I hadn't done it. I may or may not have drove a car too when I was 13-ish. Well, my old man taught me how to drive standard in Panama when I was 13, and it was fun. And I mean, there's not as many rules there, so we could learn. But then I hadn't done it again until I get to Germany. I might have done it once or twice in college because I think one guy had a standard, but like not many people are doing it. And I tell you, it's as hockey as it gets every season in Europe, Germany, UK. Every time those new boys come over, and they got no clue.
No, absolutely not. Opposite side of the road, squeaking gears and brakes and clutches,
Stalling at
smoke coming
red
out of the
lights all the
engines.
time.
Yeah, just stop, start, stop, start. It's wonderful just to watch. You kind
Oh,
of I find myself sometimes after induction day in Sheffield, just hanging around the car park to watch some of these guys try and just drive home. It's brilliant. I love it.
or the fellas that stay in first gear all year.
He's done 6,000 miles in 9 months, all in first gear.
Man, this thing gets loud. Oh gosh, it's amazing when you write down all these notes and the research team gets hot. You think you know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, you obviously haven't spent any time with me, Wally. I'm full of shit. I really, really am.
That's exactly what I want. But I remember my wife was trying to learn standard in Germany. Whew, it was a stressful days.
Just be careful because it's International Women's Day today, Wally. So be careful with where we're going with this one. You'll get
But she figured
cancelled
it
and the
out.
shit
She
kicked
figured
out of
it
you.
out, right? She
Fair
did it.
play.
She did it. Ran amok. You just got to
Fair play.
stick with it, right? That's hockey.
You've got it. Exactly. Exactly right.
Oh gosh. So when I read that article about in 2018 about you being the goat of taking photos, one of the pictures that was in that article was as hockey as it gets. Doughty and Ben O'Connor standing on the boards, like standing on top of them with the trophy
Yep.
and all the fans. And I was like, whoa, that's a hockey photo.
Yep. Absolutely. Do you know, it's funny.
Don't tell me I
There are
lost that game. Don't tell me that's a picture of a game I lost.
20. Do you know what? Was it 2017?
Thank
Was
gosh.
it
Okay.
2017 when we did you guys in the playoffs or something like that?
I don't know. I wasn't
Can't
there
remember.
anymore.
I can't for the life of me remember, but it wasn't long before. But kind of when the days come around, when the times come around for celebrations and pictures like that, there are two pictures that I always work my backside off to try and get. One of them is that one is one or a couple of the guys stood on the plexi with the trophy because I just think seeing all the crowd in the background going nuts just looks phenomenal. And the second one, I love the dumping of the water over the coach. And it doesn't always happen, and I kind of can't help but feel like as the years go on, that happens less and less. But it's such a good picture. My best picture that I ever got of that was um, Lotto when Lord and Cardiff won the playoffs. I can't remember exactly what year it was. That Sheffield weren't there, but I was still there photographing for the league. And I got one. I'll send it over to you. He was just kissing the cup as the guys dumped the water over his head, and you just saw the face and the kiss and the cup and the water. I love that shot. It's brilliant. It really is.
And you do know how to hockey if one of your favorite photos ever is of a Cardiff Devil, not a Steeler. You try to
This is
stay
it. I mean,
neutral like me. Like I am a Cardiff Devil, but I try to stay neutral because shed guys are shed guys. And then Manchester, they've been all nice to me and, getting me confused.
honestly, Finner over in Manchester, he might act as though he's a bit of an arse, but he's not. He's one of the nice. That's somebody else to get on if you've not already had him on. Brian Finnerty over in Manchester. That would be a great episode in the shed. He has some real good
So
stories.
I've had him on, I think it's twice, but now I think
Oh, have you had Finner on?
yeah,
Okay.
he's a big suit now, big suit guy now that I owe money to. So I don't know if it's the right time to talk to him right now
Ooh.
because I still owe him money for sponsoring Captain Critch and getting my logo on the back of his jersey. Have you taken a photo of that yet? Because you should.
Do you know what? I'm sure I will have got a photo of that. And you know, after we finish this call, I will dive into my Sheffield Manchester games and see what I've got. I got a great one at Critch the other day when the bastards came and did us at our own arena, actually celebrating the empty net goal. That's again, as disappointed as I was with the result, you can't help as a photographer but look at a picture and think, shit, that's a great
That's a
picture.
great pick. So
Yeah.
someone sent me, and you know what's interesting for me is I'm not doing things right in the shed. I'm not tagging you and other photographers like I'm supposed to be because it is your work and you're the ones
Ooh,
taking those
okay.
pictures. I hijacked the shit out of your guys' photos. I'm a big screenshot guy. People send me
Yep.
photos, I save them and I send them, and I don't tag the person who took the photos a lot, but it does take everyone to win, and you guys are important. But someone sent me a picture of Critch putting it in the empty net to win the game, and the two ales and hockey tails logos on the back. And then you guys have like the cheerleaders, like that stand there with the
Yep.
pom poms, and they look
Yep.
so confused at what to do. They're like,
Yep.
"So we've
Yep.
lost. Do we dance? Do we shake the pom poms anymore, or are we calling this? Are we walking off
Or
stage?"
do we just go? Oh, do we just go? That was mine. That was so there was two or three pictures at the end. There was the one of him kind of nailing the puck into the back of the net, into the empty net, and then a couple of the celebrations. But yeah, that was one of mine. So could you see the two L's logo on the jersey in that shot
Oh,
then?
you sure can. Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
So
I
it's right
didn't
above his
realize you.
name, and apparent and in the hockey world, folks, for people to put their logos on jerseys, it is not free. You have to pay for that. So, as hockey as this gets, folks, if you cheer for the Devils, if you cheer for the Steelers, the Storm, I have a bill to pay, and we're all a big hockey family. I'm having a raffle at aleshockeytales.com. And fun fact is a shed guy that is a fan of the shed had a signed Josh Batch game worn jersey from 2019-20, which fun fact is when Woolley came back for Woolley night. But it's signed by Josh Batch, number 41, the guy that brought me back for his testimonial. And you know, that's the stuff you'll never forget in life. And we're having a raffle for a Batchy jersey, which is a devil, to pay my bill to the Manchester Storm.
Brilliant.
So,
Love
folks, if you
everything
Devil
about that.
fans, you know, don't get all upset about where the money's going. Think about the Batchy jersey and think about that. I wanted to have the pop up stand in Cardiff and they said no. So then I had to leave. I was a free agent. I had to go to Manchester if I wanted to have a pop up stand that I never did. But they said I could. Cardiff said I couldn't. Now all of a sudden I owe Manchester money, but you know, I'm a sponsor of the team. So I owe money and I need my hockey family to help me out and support Batchy because he's a shed guy, ultimate shed guy, right?
Top guy, ultimate top guy. Yeah, you know it's funny. Batch is the one who I'd never ever change a GB team once it's been announced. I mean, not that. I mean, I'm a photographer, of course I wouldn't because I've got no power to be able to. But everybody does that thing when the GB squad's announced for each tournament, don't they? They look through and it's like, oh, why haven't he made it? Why haven't he made it? I look at every
Like
squad and
every
I think
hockey
we're
team.
stacked every year. Well, of course, yeah. I see every squad when it's announced, and every year I'm happy with it. I'm stacked, but I can never feel a bit. I can never not feel disappointed that Bachi just doesn't quite make the cut every single time. Is a top guy. It would be awesome to see him more regularly pull that GB jersey on. But you can't argue with the results that this team's getting every time, can you?
No, you can't, but you're right though. For me, Batchy was like just a kid kind of when I was in Cardiff, and now he's a full-grown man that has gotten better. And I did watch a game or two in the last couple of years, and every time I saw him play, man, he was big, he was strong, he was making the simple
Yeah.
play. He'll fight anybody, he'll do whatever it takes to win, and he's a great teammate. And it's like, man, GB must really be doing things if a guy like that's not making the team.
You've got it. You've got it. It's one thing to feel disappointed about it from a personal point of view, but exactly as you've just said there, the Pete Russell and the guys are tearing it up back up in Pool A for this year. You can't be upset about that, can you? As much as we'd personally like to see guys like Batchy play for the country.
And it's the same and around here in minor hockey. You see the teams picked and you have your favorite people. And then when something goes on and you're like, that's not what I would do. But it's like, well, everybody makes their own decisions, you know?
Absolutely. Exactly right, mate. Yep.
And fun fact, folks, is I have put my name in to coach minor hockey again. And I don't know if people know much about me, but I don't really like to back down from things very often. I'm 0 for 3 in minor hockey coaching applications. Let's see if we can get to 1 and 3, right? I got my name in. Let's see if enough people have my back that I can win a game.
Fourth time lucky, I think's the saying, isn't it,
Is
Wally?
that
Fourth
is that
time lucky.
maybe, right? You know,
Let's go with that. Let's go with it.
do your best, forget the rest, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's even better. Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting as a coach. It's like, well, if you don't have a resume and you haven't done it before, it's like, well, who's giving the opportunity to try? Who's giving you the chance to show everybody what you can do? And it's like Lordo in Cardiff, and like they gave him an opportunity as a player coach. And now look at that fell fly,
Oh,
right?
yeah, exactly, exactly. Superb what he did. And do you know what? It's funny, isn't it? Because you're absolutely right. I think at the time that Cardiff gave him that coaching opportunity, I think there was a lot of eyebrows raised, wasn't there, across the league about, wow, really? That guy coaching, and then, I mean, in the what was it, 3, 4 years that he coached down there? What a job that he did. There was no better team than Cardiff, was there?
No, well, he underplayed me, but other than that, he did a great job.
Well, not
Every
everybody's
hockey guy
perfect,
gets
Wally, are
underplayed. If you think you're getting played too much, you're a loser.
they? Brilliant.
No, but like it's neat to see my friends do stuff, and I always say winning takes people places. It opens doors. It makes new opportunities. Seeing Team GB do what they're doing, seeing the Steelers this year do what they're doing, it was like when we won the Challenge Cup in Cardiff. I personally think that changed things. And that was my
Yeah.
first year on the team. And the only reason I went to Cardiff was because Lordo brought me because he played against me in Germany. And in hockey, it's all about the people you know and who has your back. And I play a hockey game against him in Germany a couple times. And then he becomes a coach in Cardiff and he wants me. And it's like, well, that's neat, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Do you know, it is when it comes to stuff like that, hockey's a really small world, isn't it? Everybody knows everybody else. I mean, just in this chat that we're talking here, I know we're cheating a bit because we're talking about the same league and the same players, but there's not one name that either of us has mentioned that the other one doesn't know, and that's just because of how small the hockey world is. And I guess as a player, to have somebody say that they want you to come and play for them because they know you and have played against you as opposed to through an agent and all that kind of stuff. That's got to feel good, Wally, hasn't it?
Well, I might get into a little deeper why it felt so good was
Go, let's do it. Yeah.
how weird all this timing of I always say timing is everything, and I think scoring goals is a lot about timing and when you get to the net, when you're in the right spot, you know where the puck might go off a rebound. You need to know timing. And for me with the shed and how everything seems to work itself out, and it's like, am I living in like some kind of fantasy world that I don't know about? The day we looked at this house to buy it, there was no shed. It was a garden for my first couple of years, folks. This was a garden and I grew stuff. Um, when we looked at this house, and I could tell the wife was feeling it, and I was like, oh shit, I'm moving to Kincardine. Um, Lordo called me while we were looking at the house. I was in charge of staying with Colby while we were looking at the house. Lordo calls me. We have our chat, and he says, man, I played against you. I know what you can do. He's like, but this guy in Bietigheim says you drink too much. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I got a kid now. I'm like, I'm focused on being a hockey player. I'm like, I never played with that guy. I don't know him and he doesn't know me. So I don't know why he's telling you that, but I'm like, I'm ready to play every game. And um, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, but I am focused and I'm ready to go. And then he's like, that's all I needed to hear. And then we got the deal done. That day was the day I bought this house.
Wow.
Isn't that
What a
something?
great story. Yeah, that's great. That. And do you know what? For what it's worth, I mean, obviously the player was clearly talking bollocks because, like you've just said, you were a family guy at that point. But I've got to say, some of the best hockey players I've ever seen play in my 30 odd years of watching it have been half drunk most of the time.
Yeah, they get buckled. I mean, there's
Oh my
guys out
God.
there that are our generation that we grew up getting buckled.
I mean, you kind of knew when these guys that we're talking about now hadn't had a couple of drinks because they were horse shit on the ice.
And
They needed
the
to be.
funny thing to me was with the guy he brought up that said it that I had never played with and he didn't know me. He says, "Well, I wasn't really going to take his word because he's a loser."
Ah, brilliant. Yep, yep. That says everything
And
that you
I'm
need to
like,
know, doesn't it?
"Hey,
Right
shed
there.
guys don't shed guys. That guy go stay at Beatingham with that loser coach. Have fun. Good luck getting relegated to the
Ah,
third
brilliant.
league this year, guys."
Yeah. Suck that, you fucker.
Yeah, suckers. No, it's weird though. The German team that I played on there, Bietigheim, that like we came to Sheffield and played the Steelers
Yeah,
back in the day.
they're, they're the Steelers over there. That's right. I'm thinking of the right ones, aren't I? Behind Steelers, is
Uh,
that right?
I was a Steeler, yeah. So it's
You
like
were a Steeler,
I was a
yes.
Steeler. I was a German Steeler, and we came to play the British Steelers, and we ran amok.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't want to start any wars or anything like that. We thought we'd better let you just knock a few goals in and then go
They
back
came
home.
up with all the excuses after we ran amok. It was like, oh, we just got here this week. We haven't practiced yet. We haven't even done anything yet. And it's like, okay, well, cool. Well, we ran around a track all of July and it was awful. So I'm glad you guys just got here. Way to go.
Awesome.
But anywho, that is when I first saw the Steelers and I saw what the UK league could be like. We played in that little barn beside it, but then we did go into the big building, and I was like, "There's arenas like this in the UK, huh?"
Yeah, we've got a great. I mean, there's a fair few great venues around the league, but I think we're really lucky with the arena that we've got in Sheffield. What a place that we've got! What a size! What a fan base! It's superb. It's superb. And the league, I mean, holy shit, it just gets better and better every year for me. I think
Doesn't it?
we're up there with the best in Europe, I think sometimes. Certainly, I mean, I could I mean, of course, with the exception of the big guys like KHL and DL and those sorts of leagues, but sort of second tier European leagues, I think we go up against the best of them any day of the week.
I couldn't agree more. And when I see it happening in my shed, and I was there when it started to change and be more professional and it is neat to see where it's going. Personally, I kind of like some unprofessionalism. I kind of like the old barns. I like the Manchester Storm barn. I like when things are old school, I don't always like the big new fancy arenas. And when you say you're very lucky with your arena, I would agree with you. You're lucky that the fan base you guys have is crazy how many people come. Um, and it does get you pumped up every time to go there. But then you get out there and as a player, it's unlucky. It's too big, it's
Okay.
too warm, and when you're a little overweight, you sweat way too much, and it's hard to think.
Do you know the heat thing? It's funny that you say that out of everything that you've just said there. Sometimes our arena is quite warm and you can just see the guys on for both teams, not just
That's
for the
why the
Steelers,
chocolate
for
sticks to the
both
ice, folks.
teams.
It's too warm in there.
Oh God, absolutely, absolutely. I think one year Tony had a bit of a stint of kind of cooling the arena down and selling blankets and what have you at the merchandise shop. That was the way to go. That's proper businessman thinking right there for you.
What was the proper businessman thinking?
I think there was one year where we had the arena kind of sort of more colder than it usually would have been. And then in the shop, in the merchandise shop, all these kind of Steelers branded blankets appeared. And I think that was proper businessman thinking that.
Well, so you're turning it into like a real arena because that thing's way too
Exactly.
warm, man.
Yeah. It
That's
can
one
be.
good thing
Yeah, it
about
can be.
coaching that I'm really into is I get to do all the things I did as a player of trying to bring a team together And yeah, some people could say I had too many beers. Well, you know what? All my teammates knew exactly what I was doing. I was trying to bring everybody together and trying to win. And sometimes it takes beers to do that. Um, because you know what? I was asked to leave a lot of places. That's why I have so many jerseys behind me, is because nobody wanted me to stay. But my teammates have invited me back to Europe 7 times in 8 years. So you guys can all go fuck yourselves.
Well said. That
Right?
speaks volumes, doesn't it? Well said, Wally.
Right? I mean, it took
Absolutely.
me a long time to get to that point to say that, because for the first few years I was home, um, I felt like a failure. I felt like the career I had had and where I'd put my family and life was unacceptable as a dad and as a person. And when you're trying to get into the real world and you start out as a fourth liner and you're in your mid 30s with 2 kids and you're like, I'm a fucking loser. And then
Wow.
you get out of that, and then you realize that your teammates have your back, and then everything's okay.
And that's all that matters, Wally, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? All those other fuckers who are like that with you. The reality is, all that matters is that your friends, your teammates have got your back, at the risk of getting a bit deep and soppy here.
Right. And yeah, we'll move on from that. But cool stuff getting invited back. And thank you, Matthew Myers and Josh Batch. Days I'll never forget. And then Richie invited me back for his. I couldn't make it. And then Justin Kelly and Renee Schofs and Beatingheim, who got their jerseys retired, invited me back for their nights, and I couldn't make it. Um, those are the things that mean the most, even if I couldn't
Absolutely.
be there. I was invited.
Absolutely. Yeah. Completely with you, mate.
Definitely should have been there, though. I can't miss shit like that for your boys. It still drives me, it makes me sick I wasn't at Renee's game. Justin's was the same time as Wally night, Big and Little Sexy, both having nights in Europe at the same
Brilliant.
time. Yeah, drank too much, buddy? Grow up, right?
There's no such thing. Yeah, no such thing, mate.
Sorry, I was just playing the game. So I had written down, what is your favorite pick you've ever took? Because I found it interesting. I still always find it interesting having a photographer on, because I see some of the photos you're taking and I'm like, man, that's wild that you captured that. But how do you choose your pictures as a photographer for your poster?
So it's funny, because my favorite picture that I've ever taken isn't included on that poster. What I tried to do with the pictures that I sent over to you was kind of include it more sort of with me, like with Matthew with the trophy and things like that. But you'll probably be a bit disappointed to hear that my absolute all-time favorite picture, and it's actually two, but I class it as one because it's of a goal and the immediate aftermath celebration. The double overtime playoff final win against Cardiff back in 2017, I think it was.
You would bring that up.
Of course I would, yeah. And I'm going to stay on it for at least a few minutes, Wally. So you can might as well switch your mic off for a second.
Earmuffs.
So, exactly, you've got it. Exactly. You asked me to cover my ears up earlier on for the chocolate throwing stuff. Well, this is your turn now, mate. This is where you return the favor.
Fair enough.
So the two pictures, one is where Levi Nelson's got the shot off and it's gone over Bounty's shoulder and into the net. And the next one is where Levi's jumping up against the boards behind the net and celebrating with Dowdy. Now, I mean, the good pictures, the what I believe are great pictures. But for me, when it comes to my personal choice of pictures, it's about the bit of a story that sits behind them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think is probably now a little bit more common knowledge, but maybe wasn't at the time, is Levi Nelson should have never played that game. He should certainly have never played the overtime periods. His knee, I think it was fucked, Wally. It was shot. He couldn't put any weight on it whatsoever. And I think I'm right in saying at the end of the first overtime, he had an injection into his knee to allow him to try and carry on skating. And then he comes out into second overtime and fires in the game winner. So for me, it's not just the story itself. It's not just the picture, sorry, the picture itself. It's the story that goes with it. And I just think it's immense that Levi going through something like that, as you guys do so regularly, but then coming out and nailing that game winner like you did. On the video, actually, on the highlights video, you can see Dowdy jump on him, and you can see a look of pain in Levi's face, and his knee just buckled because he's done. He can't stay stood up. So that's the reason why those are my favorite pictures. It's not just the fact that I love the pictures because it gets the goal and that brilliant celebration, but the story behind it for me is phenomenal and might even be a once in a photographer's lifetime kind of story.
Um,
There you go.
Meh, not you're hitting home again, eh? What'd that Deese guy say about you again? That you're a real asshole. Um, a lot of that hit home again. I think in hockey, the people that dig down deepest, the people that will do whatever it takes, win. And that is a heartwarming story to hear, that a guy that shouldn't have been playing scored the goal, because
Yeah,
that's what hockey's all about, in my
yeah,
opinion. And I could be
yeah,
wrong. What do I know? But what it brought back for me was, it was a tough day in my career, and the way it all went, I had a partially torn PCL in Germany, and maybe didn't get the right doctor's advice from different people, and decided to come back after 4 weeks because the team wanted me back and this season was starting, and shouldn't have, but anywho, I did, and I played the first 4 games, and I was doing fine, but I was clearly playing on one leg at the start of a season. And it's like, why would you do that? It makes no sense. You're a 24-year-old guy that has his whole career ahead of you. Why are you doing this? It makes no sense. And somebody should have had my back. Anywho, I'm an idiot, and I played. And a guy hits me from behind. I'm going in on the power play, carrying it in. The back checking forward cross checks me from behind around the hash marks. I'm going head first into the end boards, and I bring my leg up to take the impact instead of my head, and I feel my knee completely go. Everything's gone, and I laid there for a bit, thinking about things, and then I was like, well, fuck this. It's done. I'm gonna finish this game, and I'm just gonna do it because I know it's over. I know it's fucked. And I played the rest of that game. It was the 4th game of the regular season. So dumb. I'm an idiot. Um, I played the rest of that game and I couldn't even stand up. There would be a guy coming at me at the neutral zone and he'd make a shimmy shake and I would just fall down because I couldn't be on my leg. And then, you know,
wow.
fun fact, there's 4 minutes left or so in the game and we get a power play. I roll up the half wall on my leg and I wait till my guy's in front of the net and I can see the pocket to shoot it in. I shoot it in and we win the game 3-2, and then I never played again the rest of the year.
Holy shit. I mean, what another story. And again, as wild as it is to hear that, I'm not surprised in the slightest because you're all of you guys who play this game are warriors. You're fucking nutters, but you're
Totally
absolute
nuts.
warriors. You really, really are. It's unbelievable, mate. I mean, unreal, absolutely out of this world. And it's like I wouldn't for 1 second condone you having to go out and do that. But
Well,
I've got a ton of respect for you doing it. Do you know what I mean? And I
well, and
think
they're not
that,
going to stop you from doing it. It's like
of course,
I
no,
knew
no,
my season was over. I knew it was gone, and it was like, well, I'm already in this game. I may as well finish it.
absolutely, yeah, unreal, mate, unreal.
But you know, it's the 4th game of the regular season, folks. Maybe use your head and grow up.
Yeah, well, actually, I think Levi's
Yours
doing
was
it on the
your
final game
story
of the
was the
season.
playoff final in overtime.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, do you know, I think Levi even retired after that year. I might be wrong on that. I'm sure somebody will tell me when they listen back to it. But I think it might have been Levi's last ever game that he ever played in his career.
And
So I
that's
guess
wild.
arguably you can see a bit of justification for that. 4th regular season game, 24 years old. Wow, mate. Wow.
Yeah, not very smart, right?
It's what you do. It's what you do.
It's, it's who you are. right? It's what you do.
Exactly.
But what I found neat of seeing your poster pics, is it is different, but to take the memorable photos, to take the best photos is like you got to do different things than the other people. And I see the picture of you in the net down on one knee. I see you looking at the camera in the net taking a photo, and it's like you're willing to do more than others. That's how you win.
Absolutely. And yeah, and that's kind of exactly why I included those kinds of pictures in the poster, because I wanted to give you a sense of what it really looks like to get the kind of pictures that I get. And I've been hit by pucks regularly purely because I've put myself in a position where I know I'm potentially at risk, but I know that at risk or not, I'm gonna get some awesome photographs from there. And you know what? Again, at the risk of getting a little bit soppy, of course I do it for me, but particularly when I'm away with GB, what's
Uh,
always in the front of my mind
you
is I want to
stop
get
it.
pictures for
Stop. I
these
know where you're going.
guys. Do you know what
Stop.
I mean?
Stop.
These
Stop.
these
Stop
guys.
it.
I mean, geez.
Stop.
You look at Dowd. I mean, wow. I mean,
Stop it.
the big example, the huge example. I'm going to keep going. Jonathan Phillips last year.
Oh,
I
twinkle
mean,
toes.
oh man, to be the photographer when a legend like Jonathan Phillips retires, and to be able to get pictures of that event happening and it being on home ice in Nottingham, and at the end of the tournament, the guys win promotion back up to Pool A. I mean, fuck, Woolley, do you know what I mean? There's no words, mate. There's no words at
He
all.
played with a
But I
broken wrist.
prayed, mate. I went into the physio room after the game that it happened in, and I saw the size of his wrist. And to describe it as swelled up is an understatement of an unbelievable magnitude. I mean, I obviously I'm no medical guy, but I look at that and I think, oh shit, John has done. That's it. Fucking how disappointing his last 20. He skates out at the next practice and he skates out at the next game and he goes and I mean, I forget how many goals he scored, but he certainly scored. And he fronts the team up to a gold medal and promotion back to Pool A on his retirement tournament. Oh, fuck. I mean, I'm
Where,
getting
hey
goosebumps
Disney,
just
where
thinking
are
about
you?
it.
Hey Disney, seriously, where are you?
Unreal.
Like, what is
Unreal, isn't it?
happening that nobody's making this fucking movie?
Exactly. Oh my God. Exactly. What a story it would be.
Oh,
I mean, it's not miracle level stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's a whole different
oh,
thing. But
shut your mouth. It's not miracle level. Are you kidding me? You know what Team GB has done with the pool of players they have, and they're just a bunch of shed guys that love each other and will do whatever it takes, and they go out there and win back-to-back golds, and like Bouncy's got a tramp stamp, and John Twinkle Toes is playing with a broken wrist, and Dowdy's the best looking guy in the world. And Matthew Myers brings me back for his testimonial and is the best stand in front of the net guy ever. And it's like, what else do we need? And Mark Richardson, the quiet psycho that will drop to a knee and block a shot with any part of his body and doesn't even care. And he's like, I'll just do this. I'm not even gonna say anything to nobody about nothing. I'm just gonna show you guys how to win. So they're gonna take like a clap bomb from the blue line, and I'm just gonna go down on one knee on my side, and I'm just gonna take it. And it's like I don't even care where it hits me, and then we're gonna win the game.
yeah. Do you know what? I don't even know why I suggested it wasn't anything like you just said there, because you're absolutely bang on. It's phenomenal. And Richie, I
They're a
mean,
bunch of psychopaths that are awesome.
how has Richie not had 77 pucks to the brain? This is what I can't understand, because he does. He's in the front of every puck that is coming near him. He's a
Dude,
warrior, absolute warrior.
when you played with him and like you didn't realize everything he was doing, and then you watch a game like 5 years later, at home when I don't know what game they were playing, probably I don't know, one of the ones maybe you brought up, but I'm watching him play and I'm like, huh, he does like everything that nobody notices. It's like
Unreal.
it's in his end at the, everything's happening, and he just gets it in the corner and just flips it out to center. It's not
Yep.
icing. It's not a face off in your end. It's just out in the neutral zone. And you're like, oh, problem's over. And
Yep.
that's Richie. And then it's a penalty kill. and the guy's taking the clap bomb, and he just goes down on one knee, and somehow, knock on wood, folks, he just blocks it and he carries on
and carries on. This is the thing, and carries on. The blocking it is one thing, but just back up to his feet and skating and back on next shift.
I,
Unreal,
well, and then
unreal.
for me as a coach now, I was watching him because, I'm trying to learn and get better at stuff. It's what you do in life. I watched his routes in the D zone is like every movement he has is calculated. It is decisive, and he knows where his stick is going to be. He knows where his body's going to be. And it's all the little shit that only hockey people see.
Yeah, completely agree. Absolutely. I once heard him described as Mr. Dependable, and they meant it in the nicest way. But I thought it was a little bit almost degrading because that would suggest he's steady and he's careful. But the reality is he looks so steady and so careful because his positioning and his hockey sense is just through the roof. Such a good player. So
When
good. And
like
such a
for
good
a
guy as
for a
well.
guy that was always a forward, and you're trying to learn as a coach, and you're like, I need to learn how to coach defensemen more. And it's like there's nobody else to watch than Mark Richardson.
Yeah. God, if you're getting a goal in past Richie, then you know you're doing well as a forward, don't you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And anywho, I haven't looked at my notes much, eh? We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
I'm sorry, mate. I'm taking over on I am.
No, you're not. I'm feeling this today. So what is your day job?
I'm a government worker. I'm a civil servant by day. So, like I said, nothing spectacular, nothing exciting, but
It's
as
all
is
how you
most kind
perceive
of
it, though. It's all how you perceive
well,
your job, right? And it's like, yeah, it can be not exciting, but you can
I
you can you can
mean,
make anything
lucky
exciting
in
if you
that.
want to.
Oh, sorry, mate.
You good?
Of course, sorry, mate. I talked over you. Thanks, I lost you for a split second. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, so it's. I mean, it does sound boring when you talk about being a civil servant and doing a government job. It sounds boring. I think I'm lucky in that my day job involves a lot of kind of work with other countries and international and things like that. So it's exciting from that point of view. But do you know what, Wally? The reality is that on top of it, kind of being a good, solid, safe, stable job for me and my family, it has a kind of working pattern that allows me to do all of the shit that we've just been talking about, mate. So a lot of people, regularly will ask me why I'm not doing the photography full time. The reality is, Wally, is because doing it like this is fun. And the minute it becomes a job, it scares the shit out of me then that it's going to become a job and it's going to be boring. And two things. I'm not willing to risk losing a relatively safe government job, and I'm not willing to put what is so much fun for me and my family and friends at the minute at risk of being just another boring day job.
I understand.
I think you of all people might know where I'm coming from on that one, might you?
I might. Um, that's that's why we just do it for fun, and we just send it, and people can listen if they want. We don't have a marketing team. We don't have anything. I have a real job, and they come first. And if I get a call right now, I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna answer it and I'm gonna deal with what I gotta deal with, and then we'll get back to work, right? Or
You got
sorry,
it.
back to
Yep.
fun.
Back to fun. Exactly right. This is the fun bit, mate. Exactly.
I had always played hockey for fun my whole life, and I did have a dream of getting a scholarship to the USA, and that was my goal as a kid. And then I got that, and I do my 4 years there, and I have the time of my life. And then I do remember like turning pro, and then they were paying me to play hockey, and I was like, this this doesn't even make sense.
That's some weird shit right there, isn't
Is like
it?
like that you're gonna give me money to do this? Pardon. I was just having fun. But I guess it could be just like the shed, right? Maybe someday some guy that has money listens to it and is like, oh, I really dig what you're doing. How about and then it's like, You're gonna what?
Yeah. Well, if they do, make sure it doesn't change you, Wally. Don't be getting all kind of high and mighty when the money starts rolling in. You've got to keep yourself rooted in the shed.
I will do my best. I think I know what to do. I know exactly where I came from, and I did this week have my grandma's funeral. And
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. My goodness.
well, yeah, but like she had a tough half a year, and she had lived a great life. And when the people go up and talk about what she's put in people, and then you see your other grandma that's still kicking there, and you're like, yeah, you two people really did help shape me.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what you got to hold on to, isn't it? We're getting a little. Do you know what? I think this might be the third time me and you have got a little bit deep and soppy on this call. Is there something a little bit
I
more here
haven't I,
between us? Do you think?
I haven't done a thing. So you're pushing Simsy away and you're pulling me in, eh?
You've got it. You've got it absolutely right. I'll let you so far, and then when I feel like you're getting a bit too close, Wally, then I'll just kind of throw you back
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I'm a bit of a tease like that, as many people will tell you.
So one thing we haven't talked about, well, one of your poster picks is a small little trophy. I remember. I don't have to look at my notes for this. It's a small little trophy. You don't have a beard. And what's
Oh
interesting for
yes, yeah.
me is we are standing here and we're both petting our beards all the time. And now that I have a beard, I'm like, God, why do I pet this thing so much? Um, the boys asked me to grow a playoff beard for our run here. And you know what? It'd been a long time since I grown a playoff beard, since I won a gold helmet in Denmark, actually. And it's way grayer now, but you do pet beards, don't you?
Yep, you really, really do. And I mean, talking about grey, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but I've got two kind of streaks of grey right down either side here. I mean, I've never been blessed with a good coloured beard. I've always had a ginger beard, and that's kind of caused a bit of abuse from Simses. You'll probably
Mm.
believe from the politically incorrect guy. But yeah, it's that photo was when the Steelers won the league in 2014, and that was the first trophy the club won since I'd been a photographer, since I'd been the club photographer. And I think it was the year after that I started growing the beard. So I've cracky, yeah, it must be 9, 10 years of having facial hair now. And my wife prefers it because she now doesn't really like the look of my unshaved face quite as much as when it's half covered up. So I have to keep it now.
I don't mind the beard. I don't like this new petting thing I have. It's like
I mean, it's exactly as you've just said. I'm kind of stroking it and messing with it. You're doing exactly the same. I think the
it's
reality
weird.
is it's a soothing sort of comforting thing that us men have got, isn't it? And some women as well. Let's be honest.
You're talking about women with beards? Um, actually, I think so what upsets me about your picture without a beard is that's not 2014, because the year before I got to the UK was 2013-14 when I was a champion in Denmark. And then I came to Cardiff 14-15. And fun fact is we won the Challenge Cup in your barn. Great time. Folks don't remember your weird or fun things for Tansy and the chocolate for everybody and your dairy milks. Don't listen. But um, after we lost the league, um, I did know I was coming back to Cardiff the next year already. You guys beat us 2-1 in your barn, I think it was. It was like the opposite of when we beat you for the Challenge Cup. You beat us
And
for
we
the league.
we we won the league that night. That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Uh, when I was going out to the bus, and like I know what winning's about. I know what it brings. I know what it brings to a town, a community, your families, your friends. I know all about it. I did go walk out to the arena afterwards on my way out to the bus to watch you assholes take pictures with their families in the trophy, just to piss myself off for the next year, just to get more motivated for the next year. I went and watched
Ah,
you take pictures of everybody with their families in the trophy, and I stood there and watched it, and then I went out to the bus just steaming, man.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that's the way to do it, Wally, isn't it? To get motivated for not having to be in that position again. That's
I
superb. I'm impressed.
I got issues. You know what else I did?
Oh
This
God.
this Christmas we lost Silver Stick to a team in a shootout that we've beat every other time. Um, they were playing the final game against the team we're going to play in the finals here next week. Um, the guy that was supposed to run the clock, because it's our tournament and our parents are supposed to run the clocks, says, well, now that we're not in the finals, I want to go to my family Christmas instead of run the clock. Can somebody step up? And I was like, yep, I'm there. I went and watched the two teams, the team that beat us and the team I assumed we would play in the finals, which we are going to play the finals, and I ran a clean clock. It was stop and start all at the right time. And I did get to watch both coaches coach their teams and what they were saying to their players and what kind of messages were being sent. And I have real issues, and I know that.
I just think that's solid tactics, if you ask me. There's
Oh,
nothing wrong with anything that you've just told me there.
there was it was as hard of a day as got, is that they're playing in our barn in our arena, and my team's not playing and I'm running the clock. But
Wow.
it's all about the end game, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, playing the long game, Wally. That's the way to do it.
The Walkerton coach that I'm about to compete with, I'll bring my boys, you bring yours. We'll see who wins. Um, he was like, "You're doing the clock," and I'm like, yeah, "That's right. I'm going to run championship clock." He's like, "Weren't you planning on playing today?" And I was like, "Yes, I was. Things changed. I'm running your clock today."
Oh, nice. Well
Big,
played.
big issues. Big issues.
Well played.
I ain't fucking losing again.
Keep that attitude, mate. Don't lose that attitude. That's what it's about.
I'm pretty sure I am who I am. I ain't gonna change.
There's no doubt in my mind.
But what's neat for me, right, is we have this lake here. Like, there's nobody that direction. It's just a big lake. I have everything I need here. I have horses, I have mucker-uppers, I have goal scorers, I have defensemen that will give it whatever they got. I got a goalie, and it's like, how do I have all of this in this small little town? And it's like, come play us. Bring the fucking noise. Serious issues. I
Awesome.
gotta relax, eh? Just a game.
Yeah, if only for the sake of your heart and your blood pressure, mate. Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, I just gotta come out to my shed and laugh, and then the blood pressure goes right down.
Fair play. That's what it's about. That is exactly what it's about.
Ah, man. I'm really looking forward to it though. And it's weird that you guys are gonna have your big game where all this fun's gonna happen. Weird and fun things and chocolate. And dairy milk's for you for all the memories made. But you guys are gonna go out there and run amok and win your game. And then I'll have my big games on that weekend. And it's like, well, why don't we all try and win?
Let's do it. Absolutely. I'll report back to the boys when I see them this weekend. I'll let them know the situation, and let's get them going out there and doing the business.
I
We're
think
all
they
we're
I
all
think they know the
we're all
situation.
Sheffield Wednesday.
I
Yeah.
think
Oh
they
yeah.
all
You've had Tans and Sauce on recently, haven't you? So you know these guys are ready to go.
Mhm. I know gamers when I see them, and those guys are
Oh God,
gamers. Yeah.
100% top boys.
It's not hard to see the gamers in the game. And I have them here in Kincardine, Ontario, Canada. And that's pretty neat, man. When you start your shed and you start coaching kids, and you don't know, right? Like what age group's going to bring what. And it's like, this is an age group I had never coached. And then to see what these boys have done this year, man, like our record and the Sheffield Steelers records are very much the same. And it's like, that's having a time. You know?
That's yeah. I mean, that is running amok. That's the definition of it right there, isn't it?
That's the whole point of the game. Sucking sucks. Running amok is fun.
I
Right?
agree. Completely agree. Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a game Wednesday. I can't wait. Brings back a lot of memories. Yeah, so you didn't take any photos of me holding the trophy in 2015 in your arena? If you got any, you can send them over. It's no
Do you know?
business.
Let me. I feel like I must have got something because I was there doing the photography, wasn't I? Let me. Do you know what? I will look back and whatever I've got, buddy, I will send it over to you. No problem.
Fun fact is I do not have a picture on any team where I'm holding the trophy with the fans. You know how, like, you have your team photos and you get the team photo and all the fans in the background and it's the best picture ever. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
I don't have one on any team where it's just me holding the trophy. I kind of reluctantly didn't really do that very often. I kind of just stayed with the boys. I don't have one, and I know I did go to the fans with the trophy that night, and I don't have that picture. It'd be cool if anybody had it somewhere, you know.
Well, between you asking for it on your recording and you telling me about it now, I will reach out to some of the guys that I know that photographed back then. I can't promise anything, Wally, other than I'll see if I can find
You
something
don't
for you.
have to
Leave it
work
with me,
that
my
hard
friend.
for me. It's not a big deal.
It's a pleasure. No,
I
it's a
have the
pleasure.
I have the team photo with all the fellas and all the everybody that it takes to win. And it for me it was neat last year with my girls. We won our last game and they bring us the trophy. And minor hockey, not everybody knows what to do. And I was like, well, it takes everybody to win. We're going right in front of the parents and we're going to have a team photo with where all the parents were sitting during the game because it's just
Brilliant.
like my championship photos in Germany or Cardiff or sorry, Sheffield. But it has all the fans in the background and everybody it took to one because it does take the fans and it does take them
It
having your
does.
back and it
It
takes the
does.
team and it takes everybody. And I have my photo with the girls and all the parents in the background and it took everybody to pull that off that day, you know?
Absolutely did. Yep. From parents to kids to players to staff, everybody. Completely agree, mate.
To
Absolutely right.
photographers. It's like,
To
man,
photographers.
you can honestly though, you can take photos of like I've seen one of Tansy. I'll bring him up again. There's one of him and he's stopping on one foot and then ready to cut back the other way with the puck. And Sheffield put out there like something like hitting the brakes. And I'm like, well, actually, what I see as a hockey guy is a fucking 6'4" dude that can move
Oh
and
yeah.
has his head up playing the game. And I was like, man, they didn't make those when I was growing up.
Different level. Tansy is a different level on and off the ice, but on the ice, I don't think we've seen a better D man in the UK, let alone in Sheffield, for a hell of a long time. He's a different gravy, is that guy.
And he'll muck it up. He'll do whatever, eh?
Oh yeah, everything. Yeah, 100%. Love the guy. Love all of them. Love Tansy. Love all of them. Top group of guys.
And Saucerman, like that guy mucks it up. He might be a
Awesome.
little bit
Yeah.
smaller, but like, man, that's the type of
It
sauce you
doesn't
need on
play
a
that.
team.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't play small, mate. Let's put it that way.
Well,
Doesn't play small.
for me, I was thinking about it, I'm like, why is all this stuff make so much sense in my brain now? Is like his nickname to me is the sauce. And it's like, well, every meal needs a sauce. It's like if you don't have a
Got it.
sauce, the game's boring and it's not fun and it doesn't work
It's
right. And you need
excitement.
the
Yeah.
sauce.
Yeah. You put that barbecue sauce on your ribs and you've got some exciting ribs right there, then, haven't you?
If you don't have that sauce, what's it going to taste like? Right?
Exactly. Boring, bland, and shit.
Yeah. It's an interesting squad you guys put together with a bunch of dandies, you know? Did you ever,
Oh, yeah.
here's a cutting edge question in the shed. Have
Oh.
you ever taken a picture of Twinkle Toes' toes?
Do you know, I haven't, but the fucker managed to get my camera off me one day and take a picture of his own dirty, horrible looking things on the end of his feet. Have you? I mean, I'm assuming you're asking me that because you know just how bad his toes are, aren't you?
Well, I've heard about his toes. I've never seen them.
Oh,
So when when we're talking about him playing through a broken wrist, this was part of how all this hockey stuff comes around. It's like you get in a bathroom after Matthew Meyer's testimonial, and the bar's too loud that you can't hear anybody talk, and you just want to talk to each other. So you end up hanging out in the loo with all the shed guys. And Jono showed me his chest, and there was a bone sticking out inches. And he was like, I played like this for 6 weeks or something. And then by the time they figured out that like I had a broken sternum and all this stuff, he's like, well, it was pretty well healed, so I just kept playing. And he's like, and then he says, but then we had a guy that missed the playoff games because of a pinky finger. And I was like, huh, that that
Oh
that'd
yeah.
be that'd be tough to win if a guy's missing the game for a pinky finger and I'm playing with a broken sternum. Because then, to me, it sounds like not everybody's on the same page.
No. Did you know if you I'm sure you'll have Simsy on again. When you do, ask him about the player who couldn't play because of a blister. I'm not going to say any more than that because I can't tell stories like Simsy can tell stories. But ask him to tell you the story about the player that couldn't play because of a blister.
Well, like if uh, you just can't win like that.
No, you can't. You can't. And then it's like I say, do you know what I mean?
But
I'm
those guys have a way of filtering themselves out of hockey. It's interesting for me, the shed guys that are all still playing, they're still coaching,
yeah,
they're still in the game. It's like you guys are the guys that would do whatever it took. You guys would do whatever to win. And it's like you guys are the guys still playing. And the
got
guys
it.
that have a blister and can't play, I'm guessing he's not on the squad this year.
No, no, and it's funny you described him as kind of almost filtering out of hockey. I think that's what he did. I mean, I don't remember anything about him after that year, and he obviously did just kind of disappear into the ether because,
Because
again,
he
I
didn't
don't
want
want
it.
any
He didn't
guys
want
going.
it.
Well, exactly. I don't want any guy go out there to get hurt even more than they're already hurt. But I respect the decisions to do that, to actually do what it takes to win. Um, it's a different level to not be able to play because this blister's hurting in your boot, though, isn't it?
You're really petting that thing right now, aren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to stay polite.
I know. If that guy was on my team and I don't know what I would. I mean, when someone says I can't do this because of that, and it's like, huh? Was that now?
You're fucking kidding.
Pardon
Are you
me?
fucking kidding?
Was that? Are we playing tonight or are we playing tonight? I know this whole COVID thing was a thing and all that, but it's like there's been a lot of sickness on my team, and there's parents saying like, "Oh, he may not," and I'm like, okay, why don't you ask him that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're ready to go.
Yeah. Remind me, what's the age group again, Wally? Remind me why it is that you coach.
U13, so 2011s
Uh
and 12s.
these kids are old enough to know whether they want to play or not, aren't they?
And you know what's weird is they always play.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
And that's what it's about. It's usually how you win, and I'm a very lucky coach with the fellows I got. They are old school gamers, and that
I
is
think
what
I
it's
think I
about.
think they're lucky to have you. They're lucky to have you as well, buddy. Don't lose sight of that.
Yeah, we'll see if we can go 1-3, right? I haven't started off a season 0-4 in a while. We'll see if I can get next year's job. Poster picks brought to you by Freeman Designs, my poster maker guy. And fun fact, he is making the programs for the Challenge Cup final, running amok.
Lee Freeman, he does the Steelers programs as well. A top guy is Lee. Obviously, because of the me producing the Steelers pictures, we have interaction reasonably regularly, and he's a good cookie, is Lee, and he's fucking damn good at what he does as well. Superb graphic designer. Sheffield fans that are listening, those programs that you buy that look as good as they look. Yes, obviously the content's down to Simsy, myself, and Haley pictures wise, but they only look as good as they do because of Lee. So give him a little bit of a nod and a cheer on social media if you get the chance to. At least give him a follow. I'm sure Wally will pop his details into a post at some point, won't you, Wally?
I tried to remember all the people that are having my back, and it's sometimes it can get confusing because there's a lot of people helping me right now. But nobody has helped me more than him. And
Yeah.
Sean Collins that does the website, the raffles, aleshockeytales.com, folks. Right? But Lee's made nearly 300 posters. He's made my kids' birthday posters. He's made my Wally Skills Days posters. He's made every poster for every shed guy that's come on.
Wow.
And it's like, I haven't given you anything nearly enough in return. And he just keeps doing them, and I keep pushing the envelope. And it's like, man, I owe you a lot. I don't know what to do about it because I still owe the Manchester Storm money.
Wally, shed guys, no shed guys. That's all that you need to say and all that matters.
Isn't that something? It's a weird world where it turns out, right? It's like, how did I end up in Cardiff? And then how did I play there? And then how did I meet all these shed guys? And then how does Matthew Myers bring me back to his game? Out of all the guys he played with, why does he bring me back? And we were line mates that year, and he turned my whole season around by standing in front of the gosh darn goalie. Because if nobody stands in front of the goalie, you know what, folks? They see the puck, they stop the puck.
Is there many players better than Matthew Myers for getting in front of the net? I don't know that there is. Matthew Waugh for Sheffield was a warrior in that sort of position, just getting in front of the net for screening the netminder, looking for the tips in front and things like that. Matthew for me is up there with the best for that front of net presence, isn't he?
Those are the two. Matthew Myers I played with, and I know exactly what it was like. And it was like rolling up the half wall, and you wait till the goalie can't see you, and then you see the pockets in the net, and you're like, well, the goalie doesn't know I'm shooting now. And if you have your head up and you're like, hey, I just got to shoot it there. And that's because Matthew Myers is standing in front of the goalie. If he's not there, the
Yep.
goalie's just looking at me and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, well, no point on shooting now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Matthew Waugh, seeing him, he was like a kind of a different type of gravy than Mizey. Mizey gets right in front of the goalie. He'll fall on them. He pretends to fall. He's not actually falling, folks. He falls on them on purpose, and he'll hook the defenseman down. He'll slash him. He'll muck it up and pretend like he didn't mean to do any of it. But like Matthew Waugh would stand a little bit further away from the goalie, but like when it would drop to him, he wouldn't even always just shoot it. He would find that little pass to the side, and then that guy would tap it
Yeah.
in the empty net. And I'm like, man, how'd you do that?
Yeah. Unreal. Unreal. And you're absolutely right as well. When you talk about that extra distance from the net, that allowed him as well at times when the puck dropped to him just nicely enough to literally spin round and put the puck in the net behind the netminder. I mean, how do you do that, Wally? That's a different level,
And
isn't it?
like it's gotta take years of practice, because I wasn't
Oh,
really always standing in front of the net, right? And I remember I went to Helbron, and I would say, and not that I'm bringing up people's coaching, is I wasn't used always appropriately. I wasn't the half wall guy. I was the bumper guy in the middle of the ice. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just standing there doing nothing. And I'm like, this is stupid. And then we'd have a 5-on-3, and they're like, well, you score goals, so you're going on the 5-on-3, but you're going to stand in front of the net. I'm like, I'm the stand in front of the net guy? Okay. So then I'm standing in front of the net, like, and I'm like, okay, I'm the littlest guy in the ice standing in front of the goalie. I'm like, this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but I wasn't that good at it. I could tip pucks, but like I wasn't big enough to really take the eyes away. And like when you see the guys that can do it, man, like they must have been honing that for years, because Matthew
yeah.
Myers and Matthew Waugh knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, yeah, and for me, it's a real unappreciated skill in the stands when you're watching that, because these guys make it look so simple, like they literally just stood there trying to get in the way. But wow, that takes some doing that. Unreal.
It takes some doing, because the defenseman doesn't like you standing in front of their goalie.
Oh my God, do you take some shit from that D-man in that crease? Oh my God.
And those guys are just eating it, and they just eat it all game long, and they're like, yeah, I'm still standing here. Keep hitting me. I'm still standing here. And I'm
Maniacs,
like, I'm over
maniacs.
here on the half wall, guys. Just pass me the puck. You stand there.
Give me the puck. Give me the puck.
Stand there. I'll do this. That's hockey, though, folks. It takes everybody to win.
That's
And if
hockey.
that guy ain't standing in front
Indeed.
of the net, you ain't scoring goals.
Absolutely right. Bang on.
And the folks that tell us when to shoot and when not to, there's a reason why we don't shoot. And it's because the goalie's looking at us, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Sure. Yeah. You know what? We could spend an hour just talking about the shoot shouters, couldn't we? But let's not do that, Wally.
Okay. Well, then I'm taking a pee before we continue. Game back on. I actually, after my pee, I had to write to my Sidney Crosby of the real world, who's going on vacation for the next week, and say, don't forget to take your 2 Ales and Hockey Tales hat to the Dominican or wherever you're going and take a picture for me, right? Because it takes everybody to win, and having the people I have on my team in the real world makes this all possible, you know?
Absolutely, 100%. Have you got where am I? Have you got any representation from the Czech Republic, from Prague yet, or do we need to get a hat to me so I can take a picture over there at the World Championships in May?
You know what? I need to make more hats. I need money to do that though.
I'll send you
And I
some money. You'll
still
send me a hat, and I'll get a picture.
owe the store money, so I can't make hats until I pay them back, you know? It's been exhausting.
Finner will give you a discount. He's a good guy. He'll give you a discount. I'll drop him a message and
Yeah,
check in with
yeah. See if he'll give me a discount. Maybe I've paid my bill and I don't know it.
it. Yeah.
No, and that'll be really sweet. And you are going to Czechia, I think they call it now.
Czechia. Yes,
Yeah.
Czechia. You're
You're
right.
going
Yes.
to Prague?
Prague, yes, yeah, we're in the group. I forget off the top of my head who the teams are, but we're in the group that's going to be based out of Prague for the group section. Yes,
Hockey can take you some wild spots, can it?
unreal. Yep, the craziest place I've been, not because it was particularly crazy, just from the point of view of a destination, Kazakhstan. I went to Kazakhstan. My first GB trip in 2016 with the women's national team. Wow, I mean, what a country.
Where did you go?
To
Sorry,
be
where did you go?
Kazakhstan, Astana in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, Barris Astana. Isn't that the KHL team or whatever?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I think it was their arena that what was it now? It was Olympic pre-qualification for the GB women that I went. That was my first ever GB trip, and I'm sure that the girls played out of the arena that the KHL team played out of. But that's a different kind of country that over there.
Well, I haven't been to Kazakhstan. I played their hockey team, the one that just won the Continental Cup, and they didn't make hockey fun. But
No, no.
no, nobody was having fun when they were playing hockey. They were working. They were
Mm, yeah.
working. But Prague, that you're going there, that's fun fact is I did drop down on one knee on Charles Bridge and propose there.
Oh, is that right?
hmm
Wow. Okay.
With my
Okay.
dog
So
Beckham. Yeah,
it's got some Wally history there, has it? Excellent.
sure does. Yeah, started all this. Prague's a cool city and small world, but I was playing in Landshut and we get the break in November where you get the week off. And we had a guy from Czechia on our team, Aleš Kratoška, whose fun fact, his first name is Ailes, Aleš. But he took us to Prague and we followed him, and he took us right to our hotel. And fun fact, when you get to Czechia, you have to have your headlights on. It's a law. You can't, even if
Oh,
it's the
okay.
middle of the day, you have to have your headlights on in the middle of the day.
Okay.
Doesn't
I
make
think there's a
sense.
few countries over there like that. And I think I'm trying to think off the top of my head where, but I'm sure that I've been to another country where you have to have your dipped headlights, I think it is, isn't it, on all day, every day, no matter whether it's light, dark, or anything in between. Yeah, I've heard that before.
It's weird. And
Fucking weird.
if I was you and I was going to Prague, just because like I might have checked it out that weekend, if you were going to Prague, I would check out the Sex Museum.
Do you know? I'm not going to lie to you, Wally.
No, you should
Out of
actually check it out.
out of every kind of suggestion that I thought you might have given me, then checking out the Sex Museum wasn't one of them. I'm guessing I ought to do that in the few days before my wife and girls come over, though. Yeah.
I don't think the girls need to see it. The wife might think
No,
it's
I think
interesting.
the wife might
There,
enjoy it. Yeah, exactly.
there was some stuff I saw that I was like, there's no way that's possible.
No way, really. Oh, now you have really intrigued me. Now I am going to have to go and have a look at this place, aren't I?
Well, I mean, it's something. Um, the teeter, the there's a couple things that stick out to me. I'll leave it at this. We'll move on after this. But they have like some stuff, like it's a museum, right? It's things people have found. The teeter-totter from Italy back in the day. Um, the teeter-totter was a memorable thing to see from Italy. The countryside of Italy it was found, apparently. But I still remember that, and that was 2007.
And it's still that prominent in your memory, is it? That's how much it kind of lodged in there.
The teeter-totter from Italy.
The theater. Oh my God.
But
I'm gonna have to
seriously,
go and
just
see
yeah,
this thing
ask
now. I'm
around.
gonna have to see this thing.
You get to the top floor, and there's stuff that I never really needed to see. Stick with the
Wow.
top the bottom two floors, you know?
Got it. Got it. It's gonna happen. Just wait for the message on Insta, the DMs on Insta with pictures of with God knows what I'm gonna be sending you, but you're gonna get some pictures, let's put it that way.
Well, it would be really fun to bring back some memories for me, right, of 2007 and getting hitched.
Exactly.
Uh, so you are going with Team GB, and that it honestly. So I'm wearing my Team Great Britain pants right now. Look, see, I'm wearing my
Just
Team
got a
Great.
flash.
See
Yep.
that?
Just got a flash.
So
Yep.
Richie gave me his Team GB pants, his golf shirts, and thank you so much. It makes me feel like part of the team. And that you guys are going to Pool A to play all the big boys in Prague it's a Disney movie.
It is. I'm not going to disagree with you this time because the way you put it earlier in this podcast was absolutely bang on. So it really, really is. You're absolutely right.
I'm usually not wrong. People tell me I am, but I'm usually not. But that you're their photographer. Like of all the photographers in the world, you're their guy.
Yes, I am. I mean, it is a dream. It really is. I pinch myself regularly about it because of all the things that I thought I might get the chance to do when I first picked up a camera back in around 2010, whenever it was. Um, what wasn't on that list was going with our national ice hockey team after being a hockey fan for so long before that and actually photographing them. But not just photographing them, Wally, photographing them win gold medal after gold medal after gold medal. Yes, the disappointment of dropping back down, but then another gold medal and back up. It is the things that dreams are made of, and like I say, as much as I regularly wish I could do something on skates with a stick in my hand and actually be out there on the ice with these guys, I can't. But the next best thing that I can do is pick a camera up and take pictures of these guys working miracles, and it really is like that. It's wonderful. I love it. I love it so much.
Um, I, that's what it's all about. I mean, I always find in hockey that when it's not about you, when it's not about what you accomplish and what you're about, when it's about what the team does, when it's about your friends and what they do, that's who you are. It's like you're taking the photos of the players making memories for life for them and their families.
Yep.
And you're
Yep.
just sitting back going, this ain't about me. I'm going to go be
Yep.
here in the net while the lights are out, and I'm going to get the best picture ever. So that guy has that forever.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. Nail on the head. That's what it's all about for me. And it's wonderful after these events to get messages directly from these guys and the families saying, "Did you get any pictures of me with the trophy, with the medal, scoring that goal, things like that?" These guys genuinely want to see the pictures that I'm out there taking, and Wally, that's what it's all about for me.
Um, and that's what hockey should be about, is seeing everybody
Us,
have
it
fun
should.
and enjoy it and enjoy the sport, and winning is fun. Um, so I do have a request I don't think I've brought up. Um, when Mosey won the gold medal with yourself and all the fellows, Sarah gave him the Shed Boost Team Great Britain flag, and there is a picture of him holding a Shed Boost Team Great Britain flag, wearing the silly hat after they won the gold medal. You didn't take it. So they just took it from the crowd. But next Wednesday, she has made, and this is what is just crazy to me. It's like me talking in my shed to guys. Um, the fun stuff that can happen. And she has made a Challenge Cup final Shed Boost flag with the Steelers and my logo on it. And
Okay.
I'm just thinking, when they win, if she threw that on the ice for Tansy, and that was her weird and fun thing to throw on the ice, and he picks up that Shed Boost flag, and we get all the Shed guys, including yourself, give someone else your camera, and take a photo with all the guys that have been to the Shed with your Shed Boost Challenge Cup final flag. That would be as hockey as it gets to me.
Listen, consider it done. Absolutely right. Make sure that that thing gets on the ice, and I will make sure that I get that picture. Haley, the other Steelers photographer who works with me, wonderful. I'm going to give her a quick shout out. Haley Roberts, one of the best photographers in the business. Superb at what she does. Superb with how she supports me at games. She'll be out on the ice as well. So make sure that thing makes it onto the ice. I'll get the guys together. I'll get in there as well, and I'll get Hales to take the picture. How's that?
That would be as hockey as it gets. And then when it's over, we'll give the flag back to Sarah and Barry Baguette, and then we will have our group photo with all the fellas and them too, right? But we got to get it
Brilliant.
on the
Yeah.
ice, because being on the ice with a photo with a Shed Boost flag at Sheffield Arena for the Sheffield Steelers just seems weird to me, but it also seems so
But
hockey that
awesome.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah, completely.
I
Yeah,
don't even know what
it.
to think anymore. I'm a Manchester Storm guy. I'm a Cardiff Devil, actually, and I'm also cheering for the Steelers now.
You're a hockey guy and you're a shed guy, Wally. That's all that matters.
Well, when I met Jono and Dowdy at Matthew Meyer's testimonial and Davy Phillips, um, it did change my opinion of Sheffield Steelers. I had a tough go there, and even when Simsy came on the first time, he's like, "You tried to get Deeds to say bad stuff about us," and I was like, "I did, yeah, because I hate you." And then I realized I don't hate any of you. You're just hockey guys playing
Yeah.
hockey.
Exactly, exactly. It's amazing what the reality is behind all the smoke and mirrors of the rivalry and all that stuff, isn't it? Because the reality is there's not a bad person in this sport, mate, is there when you break it down to individual level stuff.
Well, you filter those guys out. The bad ones, they get filtered out because that's why you didn't
They're
win.
irrelevant.
Well,
Exactly.
because
They're
that's why you didn't
irrelevant,
win,
aren't
and then they don't come back, and then you keep trying to bring in the Shed guys until you find a team of full Shed guys. And then you're like,
they?
oh,
Exactly.
so now we win.
Exactly. There's a surprise, eh? Who knew that's how it works?
Weird, weird. It must be a weird game. But yeah, sometimes people think I don't know what I'm talking about. I am 0-3 in minor hockey coaching applications.
Fourth time lucky. We've already said it.
Just got to keep playing the game, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
um. Okay. Let's see here. Poster picks. We talked about Lee Freeman, and then we got all sidetracked. One I got here, I just wrote down game face. There's a picture you sent me. You got your camera. You're waiting on the bench. for the shot. And I can
Yeah.
tell you have your game face on, man. You're ready to fucking play.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there's again, it's not to the level of being in the zone that you guys are when you're getting ready for a game. But if you're going to do this job and you're going to do it right, then you've got to get in the zone, Wally, and you've got to go out there knowing that you want to get a job done. If you go out and do this stuff half-assed, you're going to miss the shot, you're going to miss the celebration, you're going to miss the big point in the game, and that's the kind of stuff that I'll never be able to forgive myself with. So fuck yeah, game face every single game, mate.
Uh, oh, no, I, I don't know what Deese was talking about. I actually don't like you. Um, um, it's true though. It's if you're not ready and you're not into it and you're not there, you don't play as well. And it's the same for players, same as photographers, same as the music guy, same as the guy doing the clock for Walkerton versus Port Elgin. If you're not there and into it, it ain't a championship level. And you got to be ready to
Absolutely.
play every single time.
110% every time, mate. Anything less than that, go fucking home.
Yeah, leave me alone. I don't want anything to
Yep.
do with you.
Go and sit over there, keep
Yeah,
out of my way.
you ain't on
Exactly.
my team. Back off. And I mean, I think it would just be the neatest thing ever when you guys win the Challenge Cup. That fun happened talking to my computer in my shed. But like those boys are gonna have to go out there and earn it, right?
Yep. Oh
That
yeah.
other that
Yeah.
other
I mean,
team wants it just as bad. Like, I don't
completely.
want to bring up bad memories, Sheffield, but it's like it would be like the Cardiff Devils that finished 9th the year before come into your barn and bring busloads of fans and pack a whole side of arena that if you're thinking about it, Sheffield, coming into next Wednesday, just thinking out loud, maybe if it's your barn, have the fans on the other side of the arena be your fans, not the Cardiff Devil fans, because that whole game, we're looking at our fans on the other side of the arena. And it's like,
Yeah.
man, they're all here and they're all here to support us. And Sheffield's looking
Yep.
at the same fans as us.
Yep. 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 Oh,
Just thinking out
that was a
loud
kick
again,
in the
folks.
guts.
What do I know
That
about
was a
hockey,
kick
though,
in the
right?
guts. Wow, Wally. I was starting to like you, and then you just brought me straight back down, didn't you? Jeez.
Why are you telling me the Guildford fans are on the other side of the arena again?
Yes, but for what it's worth,
Somebody's got to
there,
learn, folks. And if you need
there
me
are
to teach you how to hockey, I'll teach you. That's fine.
they're
If
on
you guys don't
they're on
know
the
what
other
to
side.
do, let me know.
I think we're okay this time because we put them on the other side of the arena, but the opposite side, and I think a bit higher up as well. I think we've managed to keep them out of the way a little bit more than when your guys were here.
Yeah,
But
there'll
oh
probably
cracky,
only
yeah,
be
that's
15 to 20 of them from Guildford anyways, right?
you never know. They might come in the thousands.
Not like the Cardiff Devils did that day.
Do you know what I mean? All joking aside, fair play to your fans coming up in the numbers that they did that game. It was unbelievable.
Well, and it takes everybody to win, man. Even our owners flew over. Our new owners that are part of a new team and we're starting something new, and then they fly over and are part of the whole deal and on the fan bus with everybody. It's like I was thinking to myself before the night before, and I see all this stuff happen, and I'm like, how did I end up on this team? Like all these people know how to hockey so much, and it's like even the owners know how to hockey.
They are a great group of owners, aren't they? When they do that summit thing that they do every summer, where they kind of announce some of the new guys or returning guys, you can just see that these guys are just are having so much fun, and it's like you're
Fun and
saying,
passion.
that's out of hockey, fun and passion, absolutely. That's out of hockey. Have you had any of the Cardiff owners on in the shed?
Oh, just all of them at one time.
Oh, you had all? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
good, good.
Now, though, that I sponsor the Manchester Storm, I did write to one of them for his one-on-one time, and I didn't even get a response. I don't know how upset people are with me.
Ooh,
You know, it's scary.
that's interesting. Wow. Okay.
I don't know if he has a new phone number or just has no interest because they didn't let me have a so so if anybody wants shed history and wants anything to know about who I am and what I'm about, the Cardiff Devil owners came on and we had a time, and I thank them for everything I have in life and everything I'm about. Um, on that podcast, Mr. Craig Shostak said we should have a pop-up stand. And I said, "Oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm not even close to that, but I'm just having fun and talking to you guys." And then a year or so later, I asked to have a pop-up stand, which they were the ones that brought up. And it didn't happen. So I said, "Hey, Mr. Finnerty, how much to sponsor your captain? Because that guy is exactly what I need in a hockey player, as a coach, as a person, as a shed, as Ginner is a lucky dude that they are best buddies, and he's there because that guy changes their team, man. He wasn't there
He
for
does.
one game, and they got smashed by Cardiff, and Critch wasn't there, and it's like they need him there."
Cam's a good guy. Hell of a hockey player. Hell of a guy.
But anyways, that is how it happened, and that is how I sponsored the Manchester Storm. Was you know, I
A bit of
tried.
shed controversy. Wow. Okay.
I didn't mean to bring that up, but I did.
Shed
Because
controversy.
I
I
am a
love it.
Cardiff Devil, and that's what's weird for me is I'm a Cardiff Devil. That's who I am. They brought me back for Woolley night. That's what I'm about. That's who I want to win.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then when you're starting your shed and your own thing, and then they said they wanted to do a pop-up stand, and then they don't want to do a pop-up stand, and then it's like, so where am I at now? Where do I go now? What do I do? And then it's like, oh, so the Storm, you guys doing all this for me? I'm like, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. You know?
Well, fair play. You do what you need to do, buddy, don't you?
Well, it's like a team not wanting you back in hockey. And it's like, well, so I want to keep playing and I love the game. And it's like, so you'll pay me money to play hockey and I can play for your team? And it's like, oh, okay. But I actually pay the Manchester Storm money to play.
Are you sure? Because I'm not so sure that that's really happening based on what's been said earlier on in this call. In
I'm
fact, I've had a
trying to.
message off Finner. I've had a message from Finner saying, if you're on this podcast tonight, will you tell Woolley he needs to pay his last invoice?
Well, that's true. I'm
He
getting
didn't
there.
really.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm almost there. I'm like, I would say 66% paid. And we have a Josh Batch raffle at aleshockeytales.com, right? And
that will
if you
nuts.
guys want to show your support that we should have had a pop-up stand in Cardiff and not the pretend one we never did in Manchester, then buy your raffle tickets at aleshockeytales.com, right?
Wow, controversy. I love it so much. This is brilliant.
Well, I am still a Cardiff Devil. And they will let me have a pop-up stand. I just have to be relentless, right?
Keep on it. Exactly right. Yeah.
It's like trying to get Chris Culligan into the shed. He tells me I'm relentless, and it's like, well, be better. Get in my shed.
That's how you get things done. That's the way to do it.
Be relentless, right? You say no, I'll show you yes.
You got it exactly right.
And that's what the Sheffield Steelers should do next week, right? Like, I don't give a shit about the Guildford Flames. It's not even a real organization to me. You know?
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. We're getting really controversial, aren't we?
May as well piss people off before the big game, right? We may as well get things going.
Well, yeah. Don't you get them too excited that they come in and put a fucking performance on Wednesday, Jesus.
They can put it right up on their board. Sorry, Foxy. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking aloud in the shed. But I'm the same. I want team's best. I want you to bring your best. I'll bring my best. I think this whole putting it up on the board like they said this or that, it's like, yeah, we said that. We're going to beat you. Bring the noise.
Yeah. Fair play. Yep, I like that.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I think you guys are going to win. And I think it's going to be hilarious.
I hope you're right. I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm going to see how the game goes, but I hope you're right, mate. That's all I'll say. I hope that on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, you're getting a picture sent through on Instagram or by email from me holding up that flag with all the other shed guys. That's all I'm going to say.
it would warm my heart, and it would be the weirdest thing ever to be happy that the Sheffield Steelers won the Challenge Cup in Sheffield, because it made a memory for life for me. And I always say winning changes things. It changes people's careers. It changes the doors that are open. It's like when we win in Sheffield in the Challenge Cup with Cardiff, it's like that changed things. It changed
Yeah,
things in Cardiff, and
yeah,
it changed things for years. And it's like, you guys are quite established now, though. Cardiff was on the comeback trail back then.
yeah. That was that game, that win, that was the catalyst, when they for Cardiff. Then just to keep on driving and keep on building. That was the big game that it was.
And it was fun to play it.
I bet it. Yeah, it wasn't from where I was stood, but fair play to you. Yeah, whatever you say.
Well, we're still not allowed back in that hotel in Sheffield. And I am still a Cardiff Devil, folks. Don't get yourselves wrong. I just want to have a pop-up stand, and I want Todd to write to me and say, "My bad. I'm sorry. I should have said yes." And then you could have sponsored our team and not the Manchester Storm, right?
Fair play. Come on, Todd, get on it.
Right? It's like but it's weird for me. It's like Manchester Storm's playing in the Big Blue Tent, and I've been there a couple times. Did some pregame speeches, and they were
Yeah.
fun. And it's weird for me to see a team playing in the Big Blue Tent, getting chocolate thrown on the ice, and it's like, if this would have happened when I was at the Big Blue Tent, it would have made hockey even funner, and it would have made me
Yes.
want to win even more, because
Yeah.
then I know what's going to happen after, and that's fun.
It is. Completely agree, mate. Yep, absolutely agree.
Wild world, isn't it?
Oh yes.
What's the poster pick where you're getting spooned by another guy on the ice? There's like 5 of you, and you're getting spooned by a
Oh
fella.
yes. So that's kind of part of the GB media team, and I'm getting spooned by my wonderful, wonderful friend, a chap called Chris Ellis. One of life's good guys, probably my best friend in the world. He's the media officer for GB, for Ice Hockey UK, and he's also the media guy for the Panthers as well. Is it from this season or the last two seasons?
You're friends with a Panther
Genuine
guy?
good guy. Yeah, yeah. Joe, do you know, but I'm friends with a few Panther people, Laura Joe, the physio, one of my great friends as well. Sophie, the social media girl down there. Mitch, the equipment guys. Again, it kind of comes back to what we've been talking about a few times through the chat, Wally. It's like,
The good people are
yes,
the
there's the
good people. It
Steelers
doesn't
Panthers
matter who you cheer
rivalries.
for.
Exactly. It don't matter what jersey they're behind and things like that. If you're a good person, you're a good person. And Chris is the best, and LJ and Mitch and Sophie are just top people. But yeah, Chris, we've had some time together. It was Chris who kind of gave sort of offered the invite for me to come and do the GB photography back in 2016. And we've had the time of our lives since then. Built one of the best, if not the best, friendship that I've had in my whole life with Chris. We have a lot of things in common. We have kids who are around the same age, so we do plenty of things kind of outside tournament time as families as well. But yeah, Chris, if you're listening, mate, love you to pieces. Let's keep having the fun, and let's get Chris on here now. Chris Ellis would be a great guest to have in the shed. He's been around the GB and the GB world for a long time. He's been around the hockey world from a Panthers point of view a long time as well. There's another one to add to your list. Get Chris Ellis on here. I can do an introduction if you
Shed
need that
guys know
happen.
shed guys, and if he's spooning
Shed
you,
guys,
then
no shed
I know
guys.
it's important.
And you know the scary thing? That picture isn't the half of it. We spoon in real life. We've shared
Oh
hotel
dear.
rooms. We've had the best of times, mate. Honestly, we really have. Borderline, borderline inappropriate level stuff as well. Wonderful.
Um, I I all I gotta say is, like, I love it. The people in the world that are your people, that's who they are. It's like Kendo in Cardiff. I see he's starting a new hockey team. And it's like, man, you're starting a
Oh,
hockey
wow.
team. Yeah, the NIHL or whatever, the Cardiff Canucks. They're the Canucks. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, he's
I
starting,
think I've seen something bouncing around social media and something
and
like
that's
that. So
my guy. And it's like, you're
that's how you
starting your own
go.
hockey
Okay.
team. I'm like, I'm so jealous.
Wow, I didn't realize you were getting into that level of stuff. That's awesome.
Isn't it? I'm
Yeah.
jealous and also thrilled for him. And that is, I think, hockey is when you see shed guys go out there and make plays, fly around and do stuff, and you're like, man, I wish I would have done that. But then that's really cool. You're doing that. And it's like,
Yeah.
man,
That's the bit that matters, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you can't help but kind of feel that a little bit jealous about this stuff, but also more so happy for these guys, for your friends that are doing so well, and that's the important bit.
yeah, I agree. And that's why they're like, there's no way Guilford's winning this game. I have no connections to them. They haven't had a shed boost ever, and they never will. So bring the noise, right?
Got it
Bring your
exactly.
best. I'll bring Sauce, Tansy, Champ, and Dowdy, and all the
Oh,
fellas, right? And that goalie you got really kicks him out, eh?
Green, oh, I mean, for me, Green is becoming is up there now towards being one of the best goalies. I think just he's another, when we talked about Richie being so steady and so dependable, and because of that you kind of, it's easy to lose sight of just how good a hockey player is. Green is the same. He's just behind every puck, he's stopping every rebound, and he's doing it so effortlessly that you don't realize just how fucking good this guy is at his job. He's unreal. And you'll be unsurprised to hear a top guy as well, a really good guy.
He just stays in the background, kicks the pucks out, does his job, and just leave
Yeah.
him alone.
Yep. I don't think I've seen a better netminder in a lot of years, any better with rebound control either. You're getting nothing. You're getting nothing from him as a forward.
But like, isn't it interesting how things turn out for people when they do that and they go out and perform well? It's like, wasn't it at the start of last season, like you guys had two import goalies and the other guy was on an MBA, and like it wasn't even set up that that guy was the guy. And he said, "Well, actually, I am the guy and you don't need anybody else. I'm going to go out there and stop all the pucks and just leave
Yep.
me alone."
Yep. Yep. Absolutely right. He was from a resume point of view, he looked like he would be, let's say, the guy sat in the stands more than he would be stood on the ice. The arguably number one guy took a bit of a knock early in the season, so Greener got the opportunity to get out there, and he never looked back, and he's never looked back the 2 seasons he's been doing it. And
Sure hasn't.
hockey's hockey. That's what it's about.
Well, when you get your time, it's time to go, right?
You grab it completely,
And he
completely.
has, man, and like it's pretty neat to see something like that.
Absolutely, completely agree, mate.
Um, and goaltending wins championships. That's the thing.
D wins championships, goalies win championships. They're a weird breed, but by God, do they do a job for you?
Well, and the D and the goaltending is like, yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to get into this U13 boys. It's like you guys all love scoring goals, but like keeping a puck out of your net is just as important as scoring one.
Yep. You only have to score one goal if they're not scoring any on you, Wally.
Right? That's very true. And that's what I learned with the Daytona Beach Bombers back in 2006-7 was if we don't have to score if they don't score. We only have to score
Exactly.
one more than them.
Exactly.
We don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you play
Sounds.
harder and tougher and stop
Yeah.
them, then you just got to grease one in. Then you're all of a
You
sudden
just.
the East Coast Finals.
It can be as dirty and greasy as fuck, can't it? But as long as it's one more than they're putting in your net, who cares what it's like?
Well, it's like it's interesting when coaching a team where you have the guys and you're like, we are the team to beat. Is like you can go win a game And like our last game we won, I went in and lost it on them because we only won 4-3, and this team shouldn't have crossed the red line all game. And I'm like,
Okay.
and it's like, if we're gonna beat these other teams, we need a lot more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange game, isn't it?
It is, but it's an awesome game as well, isn't it?
Isn't it? And then
Yeah.
sometimes winning isn't even enough, and you're like, I need more.
These kids have just done a 4-3 win for you, and you've gone and given them a bollocking, Wally. Oh wow! But
I didn't
that's
even I
hockey.
didn't even give out the player of the game because I said nobody deserved it.
Wow, that's heavy. Holy shit!
I'll be better. We beat them 10-0 last time. 4-3. You
That's
think
the
that's
way.
good enough?
That's the way.
It's not
Yeah.
good enough. By the way, though, the picture of you in the net for poster pics, we can talk and we get along. So I haven't even looked at my notes much, but the picture of you in the net taking that photo, you got your game face on, you're ready to play, you're ready to win. But the lighting is fantastic.
So that is a couple of seasons ago. The spotlights at the Steelers home games, they got like an orange filter. They stuck an orange filter on it, so it meant that when the spotlights were on at the start of the game, they were orange as opposed to just the normal white. So the picture that I'd gone out to get was the guy skating onto the ice as they're being announced, but in this orange spotlight. And the position that I could get for the goalie, obviously skating towards the net, was in the goal. So you put yourself where you need to be to score a goal, don't you? And in my case, that means the best place to actually get a picture, and that's where I was.
Well, that's where you're supposed to be. That is how you win.
Exactly. Exactly
Mhm.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the best picture in the UK Hockey League a thing? Do they rank the best picture photographers take in a year?
Once upon a time, there was an annual competition, yeah, that the league would run and they'd ask you
Competing's
to
fun,
ask.
folks. Just thinking out loud.
It is fun. So we'd be asked to submit our favorite picture of the year and our favorite portfolio, which was basically a run of 5 different pictures. And they ran that competition for I think 2 or 3 years and got some great pictures. I think I won it once.
I thought I
I
remembered
won
that.
I won the photo of the year once, and then I won the portfolio of the year once. But yeah, it kind of, I think, sort of along with a lot of things after COVID, things like that sort of fizzled out a little bit. Whether they'll do it again, I don't know. But
They
once
should.
upon a time, we did have that. I agree. Yeah, it's a great little competition at the end of the season, and I think there was just like a little cash reward. You know what I mean? Only like 50 or 100 quid or something
Whether,
like that. But it
yeah.
wasn't about that. It was just
No, it's
about
not
having a
about
bit of
that.
fun.
It's the same as playing hockey, and when you get to lift the trophy, you think everybody
Yeah.
gives a shit about the money you made? It's about lifting the trophy, right?
Exactly.
And
Absolutely right.
like you guys are out there giving her. You're trying hard and you're trying to be the best at what you do. And it's like if they don't have a competition for you, grow up and let's have a trophy and may the best person win, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you know what? Now you've reminded me about that. I might drop the league media guy a quick message just to say, is it something we might want to resurrect this year? See what he thinks.
Well, hopefully he's listening, right?
Yeah.
But like what you do and why I wanted to have you on, and I knew your name from when I played. I pretend like I'm not watching stuff, but I actually am. I saw the pictures you were doing, and I saw what you've been doing, and I've seen it for like a year since I saw you on Simsy's poster, and I was like, I know who that is. I know the pictures he takes, and I've seen them, and I'm like, this guy runs amok. And I always wanted to have you on, but like what photographers do for players, I didn't appreciate as a player. Um, I didn't get it. Um, there's nothing on the internet. There's nothing anywhere from my time in Landshut. There is hardly anything about my time in Bietigheim. There's hardly anything about my time in Heilbronn, which sucked anyways. Whatever, be better. Um, but like Denmark, there's not much either. And then like the way this has changed and the way social media and pictures and photographers and the game being out there, and it's like there's years of my life that like I have my memories, but I don't have the picture to support it.
Yeah.
And it's like it is so important to take that picture and have that memory, and you guys are capturing that. And Helen Braben in
Yeah.
Cardiff, um she was a game changer for my family. And she was the photographer of the team. We never asked her for anything. Um, she just did it out of the goodness of her heart. But the end of my time in Cardiff, she gave us a little case, and it had 18 Walton with Behold Zoe on one side and
Wow.
everything. And then inside was the USB stick, and it was all the pictures she had taken of her time in Cardiff. And it was like, if you didn't do this, it's not done.
That's what it's about, Wally. I kind of, as much as I don't like seeing you emotional, it's
Shut up.
kind of nice just to see how much it means to you and you guys. Helen is a beauty, an absolute beauty. So it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that she did that for you guys. But what you're talking about there, I can't speak for every photographer, but I can certainly speak for me and the ones that I'm close to. This is why we do it. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing better for me
It's
than when
not
I
for
show
you.
a
And that's what's
picture.
awesome about you,
No,
is you're not
no,
doing it
it's
for
not.
you.
No, no. There's nothing better for me than the feeling I get when a player or a wife or a mom or a brother or a sister asks me if I've got a particular picture of their son, their cousin, whatever it may be, and I send them something over, and I get those kinds of emotional messages. It's what we do it for. It's what it's about. I love it, and I love that Helen has been able to do that for you, and you've got something there that you'll be able to kind of, well, basically have for the rest of your life. That's what it's about, Wally. That's why we do what we do.
And it's if it wasn't for everybody, right? It's like you're out there playing the game and you're doing your thing and you celebrate your goals. And it's like if somebody wasn't snapping that photo, it's like that
Yeah,
photo wasn't snapped.
exactly. That moment, like you say, it's up there in your head, but how awesome is it to actually look down either at a computer screen or at a print on the wall and be able to see it every time?
When it's like looking around here in the shed, there's a lot of cool pictures. There's a lot more that could be up here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
pictures, and it's been coming out to my shed and talking to shed guides and gals, and that's created a lot more hockey memories for me, and that's pretty neat.
Completely. Really, really neat, isn't it?
It's something, and I think it would be neat if the Sheffield Steelers win on Wednesday, which, I mean, it's weird for me because I have a team of guys I trust completely. I know exactly what I'm getting out of them. They're ready to play every night. They're ready to go. And um I have no doubt that you guys are going to win on Wednesday. And Guildford can bring whatever they want. I don't care. I know who's on the Sheffield Steelers. And that's weird for me to say that out loud. But they can bring the noise, and we're gonna take our picture with the Shed Boost flag when it's over, and
Oh, yeah.
they can cry all the way back to Guildford on their bus.
Oh God, I hope it goes like that. Well, that'd be awesome, wouldn't
Got issues, eh?
it?
I just want to compete
They're
with
good issues
people
to
at
have, though.
anything. I'll play pickleball, I'll play anything. Just let me compete. Let me see who wins, you know?
Just make sure you make sure you never pick a fucking camera up because I am not going against you in the photography game. That's all I'm going to say. Jesus.
I got issues. No, but you know what? I have become a bit of a photographer. I'm really good at
Oh,
selfies with,
really?
yes, shed guys
I've
and
seen,
gals.
yeah, yeah. The selfies are great. Keep going with those. Do you know what? The selfies get a lot of bad press and a lot of abuse, but some of the best pictures I've taken have been with the front camera on my phone, mate, in different countries with different solid gold people, mate. They're brilliant.
Oh man, when you get around someone and you're just like, I need a picture with you. You're the best.
Those are the pictures, aren't they? They're good fun.
They really are. Yeah. Um, one of my favorite, you know what? We should shut it down soon. I got to get back to the real world, but apparently we can talk because I haven't looked at any of the poster pick notes. I haven't looked at anything. Who do you think is the best Steeler ever?
Oh wow, the best Steeler ever.
Can I just name off some names quick?
You can. I think I know what my answer is going to be, but fire some names at me. Go on.
Well, John O to me is exactly who I would want to be. um, he is a down to earth, normal guy that that does everything right, does everything for the team. He'll do anything to win. He doesn't care who scores the goals. He doesn't care who gets the assists. He just wants to win and be a part of it. But he's also the leader and in fantastic shape, even at his old age. But then Dowdy, the way he's taken over the reins as the new captain, as the new guy, not many people could do that. Not many people could
No.
fill Twinkle Toes' shoes. But like the way he's done it and the adversity you guys have had throughout this season at the start of the year, it's incredible what he has done as a leader and brought everybody together, and same with the coaching staff and every player. It's been a special year and also the opposite. Um, it it's pretty neat to see those two guys do that, and I know them
Yeah.
from Matthew Meyer's testimonial, so that's cool. Jeff Legui, one of the original Shed guys,
Yeah.
his jersey should be
Yeah.
retired. You should have his jersey up in the rafters, and I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what we're arguing about. This is from Shed headquarters. Retire that bitch and get it up there, and let the whole family come back and enjoy a night. Why not have fun? I don't understand what we're stopping here. And then Jody Lehman.
Oh, Jody Lehman. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so I actually don't know him, but I do know Shed guys know Shed guys. And when we went to play the Steelers, and I'm a Bietigheim Steeler and he's a Sheffield Steeler, Greg Schmidt, who taught me a lot about hockey and a lot about what it's about in Europe and about the game. When we went to Sheffield, he says, I have to go see Jody. I have to go visit him for the day. I'm going. And I was like, so this guy means a lot to you. Okay. And then I saw what that guy did, and I'm like, oh, he's a Shed guy too. You know?
He's a way wild. Yeah. Top guy.
If
Wild.
I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. Tansy, it's your first year. Sauce, it's your first year. But every dinner needs sauce, right?
Exactly. Exactly right. So, I'm going to answer that question purely from the point of view of kind of what this guy's done for the club, for the Steelers. I'm not going to even attempt to answer it from a personal point of view because there's too many of these guys that are good guys to separate any of them out. I mean, you've named a few of them there, Leggy, Dowdy, John, are just the best of guys, and I can't single one of them out as better than the other. But purely from a Sheffield Steeler fan point of view and a club point of view, it's difficult to see much further past Jonathan Phillips right now. If you ask me that question in 5 years' time, will I give you the same answer? I don't know. But as we're sat here now, it's tough to go much further than Jonathan Phillips.
And I couldn't agree more, man. I went over there and played the game with Germany, and I act like I don't know what's going on, and I'm just this fool playing hockey and whatever. I'm watching what I'm doing, and I know who's good at hockey. And I went there and played that team, and I saw him play, and I was like, this guy does everything right. He does everything hard. He does everything
Yeah.
right. And it's like, he may not be the most talented guy in the ice, but he's going to go out there and give you everything he has every single night, and he's going to do everything right all over the ice. He's going to get pucks deep when they're supposed to get deep. He's not going to turn a puck over. He's going to do what it takes.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely. And you know, for me, he wore the captaincy for so long, not because particularly loud and shouty and vocal in the locker room, because he led the team by the way that he conducted himself on the ice. He never stopped working from the start of the game to the end of the game, and guys in the locker room wanted to be there with him. I mean, there's no better captain than somebody who can do that. And Dowdy, as you said already, Dowdy's picked up exactly where John has left off. He's having the season of his life, Dowd, since he's had that C on his chest. And the guys are behind him actually delivering with him as well.
You know, I don't want to say this. You guys are lucky with the people you've had. Like, you're lucky with him and Dowdy. Like, you're lucky that you guys had them, because Jonathan Phillips, his toes may be ugly, but man, the person he is as high end as it gets. And
Yeah.
nobody will tell you different. And if you want to
No.
tell me different, I'm right fucking here, and I'll drop the mitts with you any day.
You'll never have to, because you'll never find anybody to tell you any different about Jonathan Phillips. You never will.
No, and he's just a happy guy having fun, enjoying his day, playing the game he
Yeah.
loves.
Completely. Absolutely.
Okay. I never got into all my questions. How do you decide where to go in the arena to make pictures happen? It's a big arena, and it's way too warm and way too big.
So I have two main places that I shoot from because they get me the kind of pictures that I know I will want to get from almost every game. So I always describe my approach to photography as almost journalistic in the way that I do it. I want to try and tell the story of the game in
being
pictures.
A neutral observant.
Exactly right. Yeah. So in Sheffield Arena, the two best places to get those kind of shots are from concourse level. So you've not got any obstruction in the way, and you can get goals nicely. You can get some action nicely. But then the second place, and the place that I tend to plonk myself most of the game then, is right there on the bench with the guys, because you're in and amongst it. You're getting the atmosphere of the game. You're close to the ice. Yes, there's a good chance I'm going to get clocked by a puck or a stick or a guy, which I have done on many occasions. But there's no better picture than from where these guys are fucking getting on and off the ice from. Obviously, when I go to different places, when I go to Nottingham, it changes slightly. They've got a photography pit there, and they've got access to the roof, so I change it up like that. But in our arena, those are my two go-to places, and my favorite places down there on the bench with the guys. Worth saying, a position that I'm damn lucky to have, because not a lot of photographers in the world would get the chance to get on the bench with the guys. I'm so lucky that our ownership, Tony, Sean, and co, recognise the importance of being down there. I'm so lucky that our coaching staff, Foxy at the minute, but all of the coaches in the run up to this have been happy enough for me to be down on there. And you know what, Wally? It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be down on the on the bench with these guys, especially in those moments of the game where there's goals and celebrations and what have you.
You're trying to do it again.
No.
Sounds like you have people that know how to hockey around you.
Oh yeah.
That is
Yeah,
when the
really,
game's
really
being
lucky.
played is on the bench, coming on and off the ice, and the different emotions and the different things that happen. It's yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
It's the place to be. It's the place to be. You know that as a player, mate. It's the place to
But
be.
like, how many people do you have helping you? Because for you to capture every moment, and like some of the pictures I see, and it's like, how were they ready for that? Have how did they have that view of that moment? And it's like, for me, when I'm trying to crush Chris Frank's testicle, and this is real.
I know. I've heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, he had wrestled me around, and he was letting me know I was his bitch, and I was like, I'm actually not your bitch, and you can go fly a kite. And I knew he didn't wear a jock, and I pressed up on his testicles with my stick as vigorously as I could, and it wasn't a spear, it was a gentle lift. It wasn't a penalty in my eyes. It was a gentle lift to see if I could crush it. And I knew he didn't wear a jock. And someone somewhere took that picture. And if I didn't have that picture of me trying to crush his testicle, I wouldn't have that. Right?
I mean, forget all these pictures that Helen's got for you. That's the picture right there. That's the one that matters.
He was so mad. And I was like, well, then stop bullying me around, because I'm going to play hockey and I'm going to crush your testicle if you don't. You know?
That's hockey, Wally.
Right? And if you guys aren't taking those pictures, I have that picture. I have it right there where I got it like ready to break it. And it's like, well, what do you want to do here? Are you going to let me play hockey, or are you not?
Love it. Brilliant.
Right? But like the photographers have it. I don't understand how you guys get all those moments, because
Oh,
you
we
know,
get some shit, mate. Oh my God, we can get some stuff like you have never known. We really can. The equipment that we've got, the positions we can get ourselves in, you can't get away with much when you've got one of us around, mate. I'm afraid.
well, and it is, makes it as hockey as it gets, and that's why the UK league is growing, is because of you guys, because of what you're doing, because of the memories you guys are capturing. Is it can then go out there to everybody to see it, and it's like, this is a real hockey league with real players
Yep.
that are really doing her. And it's amazing where GB can go. It's like, you talked about the women's game. I got a soft spot for that too, man. I coached the women's last year, and it's like, man, the sky's the limit for those girls.
It really is. It really is. Definitely, definitely. And I mean, obviously the men's game over here gets all the plaudits right now because of obviously getting up into Pool A and doing what they've done. But people need to recognize the fact that the women are doing great things as well.
They're
It's not
playing
going
the
to be
game.
long now. Completely playing the game. Good group of people, from coaching staff to off-ice staff to the players themselves. A great team, a great group of women. And it's not going to be long until we're talking about the women in the same way as we're talking about the men now.
Man, to see it from my shed when I haven't been to the UK, like, other than a couple weekends in 2014-15, and to see what can happen. And it's like, oh, oh,
Wild,
Team
wild.
GB is my favorite team. Sorry, Team Canada, my bad. Didn't really have my back coming up, so I'm a Team GB guy.
That's what it's about. Fuck Team Canada. We're all Team GB today, mate.
Well, it's like so what? Because I came out of my mother's vagina in Canada, I'm supposed to be cheering for Team Canada, and it's like, are they the underdog? Are they the team that is fighting for their lives every time and winning gold medals and then getting to Pool A and playing all the big dogs? It's like, who do you think I am?
And these guys then that are going out that are playing the hockey through the winter months and then through the summer going and labouring on building sites to be able to earn enough money to get them through the summer. Those are the guys that we're cheering for, mate. Not these guys who are earning hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars every year.
Oh, and then you go to the World Championships and Team Canada comes up with this roster that is, I don't even know how to explain it. And it's like every other country is bringing their best, and they're bringing their best to try and win. And you guys are bringing what? And it's like,
Yeah,
and you want me to cheer for you? Good
yeah.
luck with that.
Yeah, you can't help feel a little bit embarrassed, I guess, can you, when shit like that happens? I'd feel the same if it was us doing that kind of stuff.
Well, and it's like those guys that are playing in the UK league or wherever they are now that GB guys are imports in other leagues. And it's like, well, that's neat. Like, so you're
Yeah,
telling me of all the players in the world, we're bringing GB guys in as imports? And it's like, that's pretty neat. And it's like,
that's awesome.
isn't it? So then at the
Yeah,
end of the season, when their season's over and they're done making money, and it's like, do you want to play for your country? The Canadians say no. I don't. I've played enough hockey this year. Team Great Britain, is there one guy that is not fighting and itching and doing whatever it takes to be on that team and be part of Team Great Britain for free?
yep. Not there's not one guy that you'll speak to that even through the season itself, Wally, isn't hasn't got one eye on making the GB squad at the end of that year. So he's playing hard. Of course, they're playing hard for the team that they're playing for, but they're also playing hard because they want to play for the country. And they're doing that for little to no money because they love representing the country. Those are the guys to cheer for, Wally.
I rest my case as a shed guy. I cheer for
Me
Team
too.
Great Britain, right? And I
Love
have the pants on right now. And that is
it.
that is what the game is all about. And
Yeah,
the people making millions that say, "I'm sorry, Team Canada, I don't have the time right now. I I've grown up as a hockey guy my whole life. I love playing hockey, but I'm just too busy to play for Team Canada right now." Um, well, go Team GB.
you got it, mate. With you all the way.
Right? It's like, sorry, what? Like, what do you want me to say? I mean, these are the people going out there and earning it and doing it. And it's like, I don't know what you want me to say. I am
Yeah.
Canadian, but I sure gosh darn feel pretty British right now.
I say you'll do for me. You're a freshly introduced Brit. You'll do for me.
Yeah, well, um, I think that's all I got other than make sure you buy your raffle tickets at aleshockeytales.com. Because it's the only way I'm going to pay my bill to the Manchester Storm, or else, Finner's going to come over here and fight me, and it probably won't go well. And I mean, all the fun things that have happened over my time talking to shed guys in the shed, it's gotten weird. It's interesting. It's been a wild ride. I am a Cardiff Devil. I always will be a Cardiff Devil. That will never change. Um, I do wish they would let me have a pop-up stand and be on my team, and we could share it because I don't do this to make money. I'm not doing a pop-up stand to make money. I'm doing it because I want to see people wear shit in the crowd that is me. And it's like, so I anyways, um I am a sponsor of the Manchester Storm this season, and we have a raffle at aleshockeytales.com, and I want the Sheffield Steelers to win the Challenge Cup next week. And if people think I'm
Me
an
too.
idiot and think I'm a loser because I'm cheering for all these teams, I'm sorry. I cheer for people. You know?
There's not many better people than the Sheffield Steelers at the minute, mate. I can promise you that.
Okay. They do have a squad. I agree. And what's interesting for me is when you say that about next Wednesday, I have no doubt that you guys are going to win. And then that next weekend will be my turn with coaching, and my U13 boys will be playing a series against Walkerton to see who goes to the All Ontarios. And I know exactly what I have, and I want to play. I want to play now. I want to play right now. I want the puck to drop right now. I can't wait. You bring your team, I'll bring my team, and let's see who fucking wins.
You got it. Love it. Love it.
Right?
Love it.
That's hockey. Bring the fucking
Oh yeah.
noise.
Bring the fucking noise. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. You think we had all season to prepare for this? And it's go time, and you got your puppies and I got my puppies, and we're gonna play. Let's see it center ice. Right?
Bring the fucking smoke. Bring the noise. Bring the smoke.
Got a bit of issues, don't I?
Don't ever change, Wally. That's all I'm going to say. Don't ever change.
No, I don't think I will. But I can't wait for this all to happen. And hockey is fun. And getting to play for championships is fun. And your team has earned that. And they get to play for a championship on Wednesday. And you know what? So do my boys. And we earned that
Yep.
by going out every day and doing what we got to do and being ready when it's go time. And it's the photographers, it's the players, it's everybody. Because when you capture those moments for those players, it's like those guys have that forever, and they may not appreciate it now, but when they're old as balls and they're in their shed, they are going to appreciate it.
I hope so, mate, because that's why we do it. It really is.
Well, I know that's why you do it, and that's why Dee said you're such an asshole.
Yeah, he's a prick, that guy. Can't stand him.
But seriously, go Team GB, go Kincardine Kinucks, go Cardiff Devils, go Manchester Storm, go Sheffield Steelers. I hope everybody wins and has fun playing hockey, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And bring your chocolate, dairy milk for you, and all the other
Not on
fun
the ice.
chocolate for everybody else, and your fun and weird things for Tansy, because he's the judge now. He's the judge and the jury, and he's going to decide what's the funnest and weirdest thing thrown on the ice, right?
And don't let me forget, Sheffield fans, that if we do the business on Wednesday and we lift that trophy, to get the picture of this shed guy flag with the shed guys, somebody out there that's listening to this, don't let me forget to do that if we get the result.
And I do know what that's like, is when you get in the moment and you're feeling it,
Oh,
and you're like,
oh, yeah,
man, this is incredible. This is incredible. And then you forget to do something. It's like, Sarah,
yeah.
it's on you to throw that
Sarah,
over the glass, and then it's on the ice. And then Tansy, it's on you to pick that up and say, hey, let's go do this. Let's take this photo, because if you don't take the photo, it didn't happen.
I'll be gutted. Do you know, seriously, if we get the result now and we win the trophy, if I forget to get this picture genuinely, I'll be gutted. So it's got to happen. I need
You
somebody
will
to
win.
keep me on
You
point.
will win. You will win.
I'm not. You know why I'm not saying those words just yet, but
I understand
I
that,
get what
but
you
I can
mean.
say that. I'm in Shed headquarters.
You
I can say
can,
what
yeah,
you have to believe
exactly.
it or it won't happen. You have
I
to
do
believe
believe
you're
it.
going to do it or it won't happen.
Yeah, these guys can do the
If you don't
business. They will
deep
do the
down in your
business.
nuts believe you're going to do it, you will not do it. And I
It's a good
believe
point.
that every single player on your team believes deep down in his nuts that they are going to do it, and fun is going to be fun on that ice. And I'm sorry for everything that happens.
And I never endorsed any of what might have been suggested, just to make it very clear once again.
Exactly. He's had his earmuffs on the whole time. And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wolster and Woolley.